not going to let down. He goes, there's going to be funerals you're not going to be able to attend, and parties you're not going to be able to attend, and weddings, blah, blah. Anyway, I went for the one that worked well. And it was, funnily enough, because Ryan teaches super consciousness, it was the first time that I actually acknowledged my levels of intuition, because the work that we were doing there, I remember going to find Ryan at the back of, he stood at the back of the stage, and I went, what the hell's going on? My whole body was itching and stuff. Like, I was literally just speaking. People were scared because while everybody's going, okay, so it's really obvious to me that I was literally going, I was getting like proper verbal diarrhea. I was saying everything. And at the time, I had no knowledge about spiritual hygiene or anything. So I didn't know what was going on. I was just speaking to people's lives and everything else. But gradually, I got to sort of like spend a bit more time with Ryan and stuff, and got to understand a lot more. But it was mainly around my business more than anything else. My business, the food business, was what I focused on. And actually, that did really well in the end, because I managed to get it into supermarkets and everything. I don't know if you know that.
No, I did not know that.
Got it into
Honestly, you're so secretive.
It's just, do you know what it is? I think, to me, I don't see a lot of stuff as a big deal.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. And I'd love to know why, because I don't necessarily think it's a good thing.
I don't think you're alone in it. I think a lot of people, when it's your lived experience, it is just normal to you.
Yeah.
But then when you hear, like, not everybody has like had a sauce business and got it into supermarkets, like, that is a big deal. So it's about going through and realizing that you've got all these stories to share.
I know. Yeah. So I don't know what the question was, but yeah.
So you worked with Ryan. You made this sauce business a success to a stage where you were putting them into supermarkets. Was this all before you became an African oracle?
Yeah.
So how did that come about?
I think because, do you know what? I started to attract people who needed my help, and it had nothing to do with food. So I remember being, actually enough, at one of Ryan's events, and somebody came up to me. They used to work with Ryan, actually. They came up to me and they said, look, my wife's been in an accident like 13 years ago, but she still has pain. And it was like, can you help? I was like, oh no. Oh. Because you don't know what you don't know. I didn't have a teacher. So people come to you for stuff, but I'm like, I have no idea what.
And why did they think that you'd be able to help them with that?
Go ask them. I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. But what was, so I remember putting my hands against them, not on them, like literally not touching them. It was quite interesting. I remember putting my hands against them, and it was almost like I was teleported into that person's body, and I could see their spine. I could literally see their whole spine. I could see the color of it. I could see everything. And then I started to choke. And I went outside. And I remember it was really hot, like it is today. And I was coughing outside. But as I was coughing, I could taste something. As I was coughing, I was like, what the hell is that? So eventually I stopped coughing. I go back in and I go, and I told them what I'd seen. But I couldn't stop coughing. I was like, my mouth tastes awful. And the husband of this lady said, oh, he goes, that would have been the airbag that she swallowed during the accident, because she did swallow the airbag. And I'd literally managed to teleport myself into this person's body, and then this was happening. So stuff like that was happening a lot.
And then, well, what happened to the woman after you'd had this coughing?
She became a client for a while. And we did some work on her and everything else. But in their words and stuff, there was a lot of resistance there, because I was coming out with a lot. Like, I was going into people's lives and pulling out quite a lot. And that's not to scare anybody, but I'm a lot more educated now. I'm a lot more spiritually educated now. Like, at the time, I didn't have any filter. And it's not about holding things back. It's just about making sure that the client's well-being is more important than the shock element of, oh, I've just seen this and I've just seen this and I've just seen that. But they became a client. But in answer to your question, I just started to go where I was led. So if somebody wanted healing, and also I was broke, so I was like, if when people were like, we'll pay you, I was like, well, if you're gonna pay me, then that's money that I ain't got. But I listened very eagerly to the signs that were coming through my way. And different teachers started coming through my way as well. So there was a lady who I got asked to work at Miss, no, is it Miss Selfridges or is it Selfridges? Selfridges. Miss Selfridges is something else.
Yeah.
But I got asked to work at Selfridges in their psychic department. So they've got you didn't know that either. No.
I didn't know they had a psychic department.
So they've got a psychic department in their basement called Psychic Sisters. And a lady there had...
Is this the department store you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah, in London. And the lady there had seen me, and she asked me to help her clientele on a Sunday. Mainly because she'd seen me, and then she'd put me in a room and she'd bring people in, and I could speak to their lives. Like, I could tell you what's happened, everything else. And she's like, could you help us out? And again, because I was still trying to get answers, I worked there for a bit. But and when she said to me one day, you need to go and learn about this, you need to go and learn about that, every time I would elevate to a different level, I'd get another teacher waiting for me. And
so
then
it's almost like when you were in your corporate career, you were attracting all these opportunities and everyone was desperate to work with you. And then that completely dried up. But then the same thing started happening in the healing world. Everyone was just like, we need to work with Victoria. We need to work with Victoria.
I don't know if it was that we need to work with Victoria, but teachers were definitely available.
Yeah, it was the opportunities were there.
Yeah, teachers were definitely available. Like, people were ready to sort of like just help and make sure I was okay and protect me. And in half the time I didn't even know, like, they were seeing things that I didn't see. But I was always looked after. And finally I worked with a lady who taught me shamanism and stuff, which it wasn't for me. It was cool, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't anything that I really...
What is that? I don't think that's something I've heard of.
Shamanism, it's where... I can't even explain it properly, to be fair. But it's what the Native Americans use to heal their people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And stuff. So it's just another modality more than anything else. But it's about using the elements, the elements of the earth and everything else. And it was okay and stuff. It's like you learn a bit more herbs. You learn about herbs and weeds and but it's very soulful and stuff. It's really cool. Like, I ended up going and meeting the Native Americans, and that was amazing. But studying it just didn't connect to me. It wasn't like, oh my God, that's my thing.
It wasn't for you.
Yeah, I didn't not like it. It just didn't connect to me at all. But yeah, I did a lot of stuff, and then by the time I'd gradually been through the different stages of learning who I was, I'd taken a job. I remember calling an agent, and I'd seen a job advertised on one of the job boards, and I rang an agent and I went, you need to get me that job. I said, ring them. I said, I actually said, when you ring this company, they're going to offer me an interview. And she was like, what? I went, when you ring them and tell them about me, they're going to offer me an interview. I said, but you need to ring them and tell them about me. And she's like, okay. So she did, and they wanted to see me. So
and what was the job?
It was project support. It was really junior, paying good money, but really junior. Project support in Coventry. So it was like miles away. This girl rang them and they asked to see me. So I went to Coventry and I walked in, and the girl who was going to interview me, I was older than her and definitely more experienced. I sat down And she went, "You're really experienced. Why do you want this job?" And I just went, "For the money." I went for the money. I said, "But you're going to give me the job." I said, "And I'm going to completely transform your department. And then you can let me go after that." And she offered me the job. And I came in, and within 3 months, she went to have a baby, and she asked me to take over the management of the whole team. So I ended up staying about 9 months longer than I was going to spend. But what that did was it allowed me to build my finances back up. I didn't have to go in there every day. Like they were like, "Oh, you can work from home 1 day a week." I was like, "I'll work from home 3 days a week." Like literally, it was just one of those where it just literally, it was just one of those where, yeah, like everything was just, it was.
You often get your own way with things, don't you? And I think that's something, like the way you're saying it, it's just like you were just demanding. But I feel like if people don't know you, they don't understand that you'll walk into a room and you'll ask for something, and people are just like, "Here, have it."
Do you think so? Yeah, and but you know what? I don't see it as that. But I just think sometimes, and again, I think when you're working with your intuition, this is what I keep saying to people: when you're working with your higher self, you can have whatever you want. And I'm also guilty of overthinking things and not getting what I want. But when I don't think about it and go, "That's what I need," I'll just get it.
Yeah. So manifesting has been a big part of your life, hasn't it? And you're
Huge,
very good at it
huge, huge,
when you
huge.
don't try too hard.
When I don't try too hard and when I don't overthink things. And to the point where part of my business was called Manifestation Kitchen when I first started, because I had manifested so much. Like the stories were just like, what, like how can you manifest this? But yeah, I made that money, and then Tony Robbins' company called me. So here's another story. So Tony Robbins' company called me, and bear in mind that I'd been saying to them for about 3 or 4 years that I didn't have any money. I couldn't afford.
So what year is this?
This was 2019. So I'd seen them in 2016. So for 3 years, they'd held on to my money, held on to my place, and I couldn't go. Now, normally after a year and a half, you lose
So
your
you'd
space.
still not.
I hadn't
You'd
gone.
not been at this point.
I hadn't been. So I'd done UPW, which was where I went and bought everything. I got a bit crazy. And then I couldn't go anywhere. So then I got a call and I said, "Hi, Victoria." I went, "Hi." They went, "Right, this is what we're going to do." And they gave me a massive refund. They refunded me a lot. And then they said, "We've got 3 events that we want you to go on." So they said, "We want you to do UPW in London." So that was 2019, I think. And then they said, "Then we want you to do UPW." No, they want you to do Business Mastery in Amsterdam. And then we want you to do Life and Wealth Mastery in Tenerife. So by this time, I'd made money where I was like, "Yep, I can get all those done." It was almost like they'd been watching my account. And then I was like, "Yep, I can do all those things." So I'm still navigating my food business. I'm navigating having a job in Coventry, and I'm navigating planning these events. And as I leave to go to Tenerife, so actually, let me reverse. So I did Amsterdam. So Amsterdam was quite relevant because in Amsterdam, great event. I remember meeting this woman who had also had a food business. And at the time, I was still very much sort of like, whatever else is going on with me, I know my food business is it. And this woman had had a lot of experience, but I didn't find her very warm. And I was like, "Oh, I don't think I'll ever speak to her again." Like, one of those things. So I walk away from her. And then Tenerife happens, and I go to Tony Robbins' event in Tenerife. Whilst I'm there, my sister rings me like day one, and she says, "Oh my God, you know all the healing that you've been doing?" Because I've been telling my family everything that's been going on. I went, "Yeah." She went, "There's a woman in Africa, there's a woman in Cameroon who I think will understand what you're doing." Like, it was so random because my sister doesn't even think about these things, right? Like, I need to even ask her and say, "Where did this come from?" Because it was the most random conversation. There's 6 of us, by the way, siblings.
Same as me.
Same as you. But this conversation with the eldest is just like a really unlikely conversation. And as soon as she said it, I went, oh my God, that's my oracle. I need to go and meet her. Like I'm still in Tenerife at an event with Tony Robbins. Fasting, by the way. It was a fasting event as well. So for 4 days, you're not eating, you're just having juices and colonics and everything else. And I'm going, I need to go find this woman.
So did you know what an oracle was at this
No,
point?
not a clue. But I'm saying that's my oracle. I like the words are coming out of my mouth, but they're not making sense. And at this very event, one night, we're doing what's called a trance dance, which is like a meditative dance. And I got really bored. Like, there's people closing their eyes and they're swaying. And I'm like, and I see this woman. As I look at her, her eyes are closed and she's doing her meditative dance. But as I'm looking at her, my heart starts to expand. And I can feel my heart expanding. I've never had my heart expand before, but my heart's expanding. And I can feel it happening. And I'm like, there's something going on here. And she's right in front of me, but she's doing this. And all I want to do is poke her. But I can't because she's in meditation, right? I really need to talk to this woman. There's something going on with me. And this woman probably knows the answer to what's going on with me. But she's meditating and I needed her to wake up. Anyway, I walk out of the room. And about 3 or 4 hours later, because Tony Robbins events are really late, like they go on for like 17 hours a day. So about 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm climbing up some stairs in this massive, beautiful hotel that we're staying at. And I see the woman that I want to talk to at the top of those stairs. And she's sat at a table opposite some guy. And I want to talk to that woman. So I climb up the stairs. And by the way, when you get to the top of the stairs, you can't turn left or right without speaking to them. They're there. So I say to her, hi, my name's Victoria Dio. We haven't met, but I need to talk to you. And her husband, I guess it was her husband, basically went, sit down and tell me your story. So I tell him my whole story and it ends with, and my sister's just told me there's a woman in Africa who will understand what I do. So I'm going to go to Africa, to Cameroon specifically, and meet this woman. And this guy starts to move his hands and he's doing this. And his wife sat there doing this. I'm like, what's he doing? She goes, oh, he's scanning. I went, don't know what that means. And he turns around to me and says, you need to go as soon as possible to Cameroon. I went, yeah, I'm going to go. I said, I will go. He goes, no, you need to go now. I'm like, well, funnily enough, we're in Tenerife, so that's not going to happen anytime soon. And he goes, you need to go. And by this time, he's winding me up because I'm going, dude, I will go. I get it. I'm going to go anyway. And he goes, no, you need to go, like, now. And I'm like, well, dude, I need to get back. I need to sort my finances out. I will go. And he's still scanning. And I'm getting agitated with him and he's insisting. And in the end, he just turns around to me and says, give my wife your details. We're booking your flight.
Oh, wow.
Or you do not that story either?
No. Like my hairs have stood up.
Have they? Yeah. And they bought my ticket by the time I went to bed and woke up, which was probably about a 6-hour sleep, by the time I woke up, they'd sent me an email, which I still have in my inbox of my flight.
And why? Like, so you arrive in Cameroon, was this the next day that you were?
No, I negotiated with them and I said, listen, I can't go today. I said, we're at the end of August. Then we've got the whole of September. I need to be in England for September. So we agreed that it would have to be the first week of October 2019. So that's when they booked so they booked it for that time. Whilst we were still at the event, though, this man and his wife, the man especially, he would say to me, right, we have a cancer patient on site and we're doing some healing for him. Come with us. And he would take me with him to go and do healing. And I remember thinking, he's not even asked me what modality I use. And I don't even have a modality. Like, why is he not asking me that? And half the time, like, if he saw me eating on my own, he'd be like, no, you can't eat on your own. Or even if he saw me eating with someone, he'd be like, come and sit with us. And I was like, oh. And I'd like proper teenager behavior, like, what's the one? But what's so funny was, as we were there for 9 days, and throughout that time, his wife especially would say to me, when you go back to England, look for Les. And that's what she kept on saying, like, look for Les. And I was like, all right. Like, literally, it made no interest. It had no interest to me whatsoever. Like I literally couldn't just connect to it at all. But then when I went to Cameroon in October, I got there, and to me, I was going to go meet this woman who would understand what I'd been through. I wasn't expecting anything else.
Yeah.
But when I got to Cameroon, my mum was really ill. Like my mum was ill. And my mum was just laying in bed. And my mum is like a Rockweiler. Like my mum's like, she'll do anything. But she was just laying in bed. And she'd spoken to the doctors and everything. And I actually thought that was it for my mum. So I said to her, I said, will you let me heal you? And my mum was like, mm-hmm. I said, well, you've got nothing to lose. Like, and my mum surrendered and she was like, okay, you can heal me. And my mum got better.
No.
And it was really important because she had said to me a few days before that she couldn't come with me to go and see this woman. And to me, it was really important that my mum came. Like it was so, I didn't realize how important it was until when she said she couldn't come. I was like, okay, that's fine. I remember walking outside the room and I just felt tears coming out. Like, you know, when those silent tears, like you don't even know you're crying. I think it's the only time that it's ever happened to me. Like there was just silent tears just coming down my eyes. I was like, oh, wow. Like, so this really matters to you. But we made it to see this woman. It was like an 8-hour trip. Like it was a massive trip as well. This woman just so happens to be related to my mum. Like she's like a distant cousin. And we're also part of a royal family. So
I'm like, another story that I didn't know. You literally talk to me every day. You don't tell me anything.
I know. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right.
Are you royalty?
Well,
Have you met my royal friend, Princess Victoria?
Well, funnily enough, the logo incorporates royalty. It always has done.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was a whole thing of we can't just turn up at the palace unannounced. We can't, like everything that was the whole protocol about everything that we did. But what was so interesting was when we got to this woman's house, and it was near the palace, but not in the palace. I was recording because 500 people at this Tony Robbins event knew that this couple had bought me a ticket. So I was doing like, oh, hi, I've just arrived here in Bangante and stuff. And as I was talking, I saw a tree. And as I saw that tree had been in my dream for years. I remember just going, I got to put the video down now, and I stopped recording because then, you know, shit got real, really. You know, that's the only way to describe it. Is like, oh, this isn't a joke. This is important. There's too many links. You know, this is a serious matter.
Yeah.
And I met this woman who she speaks a bit of French, and I speak a bit of French, but literally we don't speak the same language. And as soon as we met each other, we understood each other. Like I would speak and she'd finish the sentence. I'd speak and like it was just weird. And my mum was just watching us going, what on earth is going on? And yeah, it was quite interesting. Like the first night, I remember her saying, tell me your story. And I remember telling her the story. And for the first time, I just remember just sobbing. Like I sobbed, like everything. And this is why I think I but I understand what people are going through, because it's that release, because you're being strong for yourself and for others, and you're getting knocked back and you're getting scared and things aren't working out, but there's no outlet for it. And when you let go, it's almost like all the pressure from your body, all the tension just goes. And I just sobbed to the point where my mum looked at me and went, when your dad died, you didn't cry this much. You didn't cry. What the hell's wrong with you? Because I just couldn't stop. To the point where the woman was like, you need to stop. Like, the ancestors is going to think I've pissed you off. Like, you need to. She's like, you need to stop. But yeah, it was just an amazing time. And, you know, by the next day, when I went there, and I said to the woman, why am I here? And she looked at me like I was really stupid. And she went, you're the next oracle. Like, this is what you came for. And it was just the most amazing experience. Like, we spent about 5 days in the jungle. like learning about herbs, learning about spiritual hygiene, learning about spiritual etiquette, like you can't just go kicking off anymore, Victoria, and stuff like. And it's not that I used to, but it's like I'm not the most patient of people and stuff. So it's just like you just need to chill a bit more. I haven't learned that at all. My mum still says to me, as an African oracle, aren't you meant to just like be more relaxed? I'm like, oh, but yeah. So that's how the
So
African oracle came.
this woman, distant relative, told you you're the next oracle. So was it like who was the oracle before her? Like is it
She's
a
the
long?
oracle.
She's still
She's
an
still
oracle.
she's still an oracle. I speak to her ever so often. It's so funny because she's never traveled. And what's even interesting is that after 5 days, I knew I wanted to live there. Like everything just made sense. And she said, "You can't. You have to come back." I was like, "For what?" I was like, "I'm an African oracle here, And she was like, "No." She goes, "You need to go back there." She goes, "You've got work to do there." And that broke my heart again. And this time when I started crying, she just rolled her eyes and walked away and said to one of her helpers, "Can you help her? Can you sort her out?" Like literally sort her out. Yeah, but coming back was really interesting because I didn't know what I wasn't given any guidance. It was literally, this is your role, and you just have to honor it and see where it takes you.
And did you feel different when you came back?
I felt very it was a lot. It was a lot because like I didn't know what it meant. None of it made sense. I didn't know what it meant. I was like, yeah, it felt weird. Like I felt like I needed to go and sit in a cocoon and just hibernate for a while and make sense of it all.
But you couldn't do that because she'd still not got a lot of money.
It wasn't even that. I had nothing to do with money by this time. I was on my way home, and I remember Chloe Bisson.
Yeah.
So Chloe has known me from before the Oracle, when things were tough. Like Chloe's known me for a long time. And Chloe sent me a message and she went, "There's a gala happening in Kensington. I want you to be my guest." And I'm looking at the message going, "I'm in Cameroon. I've just come out of the jungle. No." So I sent her a message going, "No." And she sends another message. She goes, "I really think you should come to this event. Like, it's going to be amazing. I was going to take my mom, but my mom can't come. You're my guest." And then it was probably one of the first times that I heard God speak, because he said it really loud and clear. And I think I was on a flight when this happened. And he literally said, "From now on, you will say yes to whatever you're being offered." I was like, "Oh, for crying out loud." Yeah, I was not happy. So in the end, I picked up the phone. I went, "Fine, I'll be there." And that was my response. And I remember getting home and Chloe sending me a message going, "Oh my God, I'm really excited. Are you?" And I didn't respond because I didn't trust myself to respond, because I was like, "No, I'm not. I don't want to be there. But I've been told I need to." And because I'd just come out of the jungle, I was like, well, I don't know where this is taking me. So I get to this event after landing less than so many hours. And I go into Kensington, posh hotel, walk in. And as I walk in, I see the woman who I never thought I would ever speak to again from Amsterdam stood there.
The food lady.
The food lady. And she sees me and she hugs me. She's like, "Oh my God, how are you?" Complete different response to what I got in Amsterdam. And I'm like, "Hi." And then she starts to confide in me. And I sit there and I listen. And afterwards she goes, "Thank you so much." I'm like, "That's all right." Go into the room where this event is happening. I don't even know what this event is for, by the way. I'm just like, mm. And I sit there and Chloe sat next to me. And all of a sudden, this woman who I've been talking to stands up. And this woman is this beautiful black woman with the most amazing hair, but she's like tall. Now I'm not talking about me. Tall. And she stands up and she looks at me and she goes, "I've just received a message." And Chloe's there going, because Chloe's seen quite a few things happen around me. And I'm like, "Yeah, what?" And she comes and she sort of like stoops in front of me. And she says, I've had this all year, and people have been asking for it, and I've said no, and I've just been told that it's yours. I went, yeah, what? And she went, it's a platinum guest ticket to Tony Robbins' event, Date with Destiny. So anybody who doesn't know what a platinum guest means is that Tony has a mastermind. He has a couple, but this particular one is like, it's the one where people spend like 125 grand a year on it.
It's high level.
It's high level. It's not his most high level, but it's high level. And so platinum members are allowed to bring a guest. And you can bring a guest, which means at Date with Destiny, which is 6 days, proximity is power. So you spend those 6 days with top level, high level people. So that's where all the opportunities are. You know, that's where the money is. That's where the opportunities are. That's where the connections are. And she gifted me that ticket, which was worth 125 grand. Well, actually 150 grand.
Amazing.
Yeah. And I said no. No, I actually said, oh, I'll think about it. And Chloe, by this time, was doing somersaults in her chair.
Were you not listening to what God said to
I
you?
know. But at the time and stuff, I was just like, I ain't doing it. I was like, I've just come back from Cameroon. I'm just not doing it. But what was so interesting is everybody I spoke to at that event for 3 days kept on saying, just say yes, just say yes. As soon as I said yes, somebody else gifted me an $8,000 hotel room. Like, every time I just said yes, stuff would happen. Every time I say yes, stuff would happen. And I went there. I went to America. I was going to stay there for 3 weeks. I healed people, but I healed really high-profile people. I healed celebrities. I healed platinum members. So they became like my initial testimonials for the work that I did. There was one guy who couldn't walk, and I got him walking within minutes. There was one woman, she's a celebrity, who lost her voice, and she had to interview the next day, and she had to call me and say, I have no voice, so I'll do healing for her and stuff like that. Like, I was doing some really high level healings. I was healing people in the courtyard. It was there's still a lot of stuff that happened that I still don't have the language to articulate, and I probably will articulate one day, but there was a lot that went on. And then somebody else came to me and said, I've been given a message. I actually walked into a nightclub, and she came to me crying. She went, I've just been told that I need to help you. I'm like, by who? She went, God. I was like, okay. I was like, do you want to come and see me tomorrow at the hotel? And she did. And she was like, what's your plan? I said, well, I'm here for 3 weeks, but I want to go to New Mexico to meet the Native Americans. And she went, okay, I'll buy you a ticket. So she bought me a ticket to go to New Mexico. And then I spent that's a whole different story. I spent time with the Native Americans. It was the most amazing thing ever. And I ended up staying in America for 3 months.
Wow.
I stayed in America for 3 months. I did a lot of healing. I went to a lot of events. I was a celebrity's guest of honor at one of their events. I met a lot of people, made people who will stay friends forever.
Was this all before lockdown?
This was just as lockdown was happening, but we weren't sure what it was.
Yeah.
And I came back, I think, February something. I think I came back like around mid-February.
Yeah. And lockdown happened like mid-March, wasn't it?
Yeah, but I came back, and then I got an invitation to Tony Robbins' 60th. And I was like, well, I'm already back in England, so it's not going to happen. And then somebody else invited me. And then I was like, oh, shit, I think I need to be there. And when I booked the ticket, I think I just had enough money in my account to book the ticket. So I booked the ticket back to America, went back to America, to LA, where the party was happening. And when I got there, as I landed, I didn't even know how I was going to get to my friend's house who lives in LA. But when I got there, there was all this money coming from my account that I have no idea where it came from. I was just getting money. It was just weird. And then when I got there, my friend had said to me, oh, if you're going to stay at mine, can you cater for a party, like an LA party? I was like, sure. So I catered for an LA party with people like Octavia Spencer's PAs and all them lot in there and stuff, like quite swanky and stuff. And I got paid for it. And then I started getting paid for the heat. That's when I first started getting really paid for the stuff I was doing. And by the time I went back to England, I kind of knew that that was the path I was going to go on, even though I didn't know what it was going to look like.
Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah.
So that takes up to like lockdown, and then like what have the last 4 years looked
4
like?
years. Is it 4 years?
For you,
2020, we're in
yeah,
25 now, aren't we?
2025.
5 years. What it looks like, it's been a lot of patience, a lot of unknowns. I fell into Lisa Johnson's world, and because it was locked down, it was the only place I knew or I could go to learn about business, you know. So I started doing that, and I've had downloads since then, like downloads that have become like signature programs. I have worked with some incredible human beings.
So you say downloads like everyone just like gets downloads,
Knows what downloads
right?
are.
So you just like, oh, just downloads.
Just downloads.
Right. So what does that mean? What is a download?
So a download is where you could just be sat or walking and you just get information. It's almost like a computer downloading into you. That's why I call it a download, because there's no other way to explain it. It literally is like information pouring into you. So one day I was just sat at my desk and I got given information that had nothing to do with me at all, but it was all about how to help business owners and corporate leaders to connect to their businesses using their intuition.
And is it like just thoughts that are in your mind?
It's not thoughts.
It's not thoughts.
It's not thoughts.
How would you describe it?
It's literally like someone's just put a USB inside you and information just coming
And
through.
it's knowledge that you've never had
before. Never.
And then what do you do with that? Do you know what you need to do with that knowledge, or?
So the last one I did was really clever because we got ChatGPT by then. So I literally just went to ChatGPT. I literally just dictated and then put it into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT went, oh, that's a download. Even ChatGPT knew it was a download. But when Business Oracle was downloaded, I think I typed it up. And I still have a paper somewhere of it. And it was typed up and it was like really tiny and stuff and blah, blah. And then gradually it just started to build on it. But it's just a whole lot of information that didn't really resonate because I am not a business expert. But yeah, I'm showing people how to use their intuition in business and connect better to stakeholders, and helping people make £2.3 million as a result of doing the program.
Yeah.
That's just
I was
crazy.
going to say you've had some really massive clients
results.
have had really massive results from taking your programs.
Huge. You know, from clients who came to me and had no clients to being fully booked within weeks and having like waiting lists, to people increasing their offers by 400%, like just massive results, you know. But this is what I mean when I talk about collapsing time. It's like what you would normally expect to happen in the space of about 3, 4, 5 years. People are getting these results in like a year, 6 months and stuff. Like, it's really fast.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
It is good.
And I feel like you're so humble, and you're almost like downplay like what results people are getting from working with you, or like how amazing you are. Like you just feel like, oh, this is just everyday life. This is just normal to me.
Do you know what? I don't know, and I don't know why. I don't know why I play it down. I don't. I see people. We're talking about someone today who we see as very vibrant and very sort of like out there and just talks about stuff and attracts audiences and stuff. And I'm like, and I want to attract the audiences, but I'm like, I don't know if that's. I just don't know if that's the link, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the
I
answer.
think one of the things I always find fascinating about you is that you're so good at intuition in so many ways, but then so bad at it in others. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
I think you often overthink things for yourself, but yet you've said, even like while we've been talking now, you can use that intuition to help other people and show them the path that they've got to take, but often you struggle with that for yourself.
Yeah, and I think it's that whole. Listen, we're all human beings, right? I'm not God, right? So, but I also believe that this is my human experience. last week I was saying that over the weekend, I had some massive breakthroughs for myself. But I like that humane side of me. And sometimes that not breaking through it too soon, even at the grand old age of 52, while somebody's like, oh, what are you waiting for? And stuff. It's like, sometimes it's just like, it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
it's, I always look at my life as, is there food in your house? Yes. Have you got electricity? Yes. There was a time when I didn't think I'd have the own front door to my own home. And it's not that I'm settling because I love a wealthy life, but I actually see myself as very well because I've got some incredible people in my life, you included.
Thanks.
But also, I don't see me not having the answer to all my problems as a failure, because it gives me a level of compassion that I know I don't naturally have.
Yeah.
So I can connect more with people and empathy as I navigate my route. I believe that my route's going to propel very quickly, like it's going to just ramp up. But in the meantime, there's still lessons to learn, and it's okay to learn those
Yeah,
lessons.
and nobody's perfect, whether you're an oracle or not. You're going to have challenges in life. And I think what was really interesting is we came into each other's life at a time where we're both going through a difficult time financially. And we've seen each other through
Grow.
that and come out of the
Yes.
other side. But also what happened in that time was that you got this money download.
Money oracle.
Yeah, and maybe if you'd not gone through these financial struggles, you wouldn't have had that.
I wouldn't have got it. I wouldn't have got it. So there's bits that I haven't spoken about. How long have we got?
Well,
How long have we been talking for?
what time is it? Oh my God, it's 10 to 2.
Oh my God. Okay.
we could literally talk for like 3 days and not run out.
I know. So, you're gonna have to cut all this up because I don't know how I'm gonna cut this up. I'm telling you right now. So something else happened which was really interesting. So I mentioned Les.
Yeah.
So I want to tighten up that because that's really important. And then we'll come back to whatever we're talking about just now.
Money
oracle
download.
Yeah. So one of the things when I came back to England from America was that I'd made a lot of really good contacts, and my friend Chuck, who has been amazing, like I absolutely adore him. He's a platinum member, but he's also been able to connect me with some other amazing people. And one of the people he connected me to was Scott. Scott is a great brand developer, and Scott designed that. So he designed my logo, my brand, and everything else. Scott and I share friends as well. It's a great community. We all share friends and everything else. So Scott said to me, "You need to start a podcast." And I started a podcast, and I started asking people to be on it. A majority of the people that came on it were Tony Robbins staff, people who'd worked, or Tony Robbins business partners, people who'd worked with Tony before. And one of them was Tony's healer, Master Co. So I'd asked Master Co to come on, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll come on." And Master Co is like a really powerful healer, right? And I just went to him, I went, "I don't know what to do with the oracle. What do I do with her? Like, what's she meant to be? Where do I go with her? What do I do?" And he just went, "It's okay. Just go and see Les." How's that name again? So yeah, go see Les. And when you see Les, do his level 1 course. When you do the level 1 course, he said, he goes, "You'll be eligible for insurance. Get insured, start healing people." That to me seemed really easy. I was like, okay. And this was during lockdown. So I went on to the website and I found it, booked it. There was one in March. There was one in March. So I booked it, easy. I attend the event, and because it was still lockdown, only 30 people were allowed to be in a room. So I get there, I feel Les before I ever see Les. And I'm sat at the front of this 30 people class. And Les starts teaching. And Les is teaching, and he's talking about his teacher, Master Cho Kok Sui, and how Master Cho Kok Sui had devoted his whole life to studying energy and making sure that or trying to understand the scientific and spiritual connection to energy. And I was listening. I was like, okay, it's quite interesting. And then he says, oh, and by the way, there are, I think it's 8 masters of the world. So we're like Reiki, everybody's a master and stuff. Like in pranic healing, you've got 8 masters and that's it. So he starts to list the people who are masters. So he mentions Master Co. I'm like, oh, yeah, oh. Never thought that it could be connected to anything else. I thought that was his name, Master Co. That makes sense. And he carries on down the list. And then he mentions 2 names. And I freeze because those 2 names were the husband and wife who bought my ticket to go to Africa. How crazy is that?
That's crazy.
That is crazy. And
so all these masters coming into your life
and looking after me,
yeah,
and paying for me to travel,
and knowing that you needed to go along this path.
All that whole path, which is why I always say to people, no matter what you're going through, you're meant to go through so that you can help somebody else along the way later on. I always say that. I put it in TikTok the other day. I was like, remember this, whatever, because it's very easy to sit with your feelings and feel as if the world is against you. But the truth of the matter is, so it's like, you know, you've got this. Like, there's a reason why everything's happening. So that was in 2021 or 2020, I can't remember. But yeah, so all of that then made sense. I was like, oh my God, like I was with these masters. Like people would kill to be with these masters. I'm running away from them when they want me to eat with them or go healing with them and all of that and stuff. So that was quite interesting. But since then, Les has become a great teacher. Love him to bits. He's taught me about pranic healing. He's taught me about spiritual hygiene. He's really, you know, I'm seeing him at the end of the month. I'm seeing him in about a week's time. He has just been really instrumental into helping me heal, helping me be a better oracle. He's just been fantastic, and you know, and I'm very grateful to have him in my life. So it's just amazing how that story just leads you to where I am right now.
Yeah.
And back to Money Oracle. So last year, especially, was tough in business. Like whatever I was putting out just wasn't selling. Like nothing. Like I was exhausted. Nothing was selling. Energy was low. It was awful. And to be fair, I think I've had like 2 years of that anyway. And then November last year, I remember going to church. And I have this thing where I'm like, do you know what? I'm just going to have a conversation with God and just have it out with him and go, what's going on? And on this particular day, I went to church and I just went, can you just tell me what my relationship with money is? Because I was like, okay, I know there's a problem. What is it? You tell me what the problem is.
I remember you saying you didn't feel like you had any money mindset issues. You knew that like money was abundant and you could come by it easily, but yet it wasn't coming in.
It wasn't coming in. And it was very frustrating because I was like, I want the money. I want it to come in. I want it to be wealthy. I'm not like all the other spiritualists or spiritual people, I don't know what to call ourselves and stuff, who go, well, you know, we're here to give, not receive. I'm like, no. It's reciprocal.
Yeah, you can do both.
You can do both. So I'm all for that. So I went to church and I asked this question. And I could feel myself trembling throughout the service. Trembling. And then I walked out, got in my car. It was almost like someone had just plugged in that USB again. And I just started to download data. And this time I was in my car and I was about to drive. And I was like, what on earth? So I pressed my memo button on my phone and I spoke. And I just spoke. And stuff was coming out of my mouth that I'd never heard of before. It takes me about 10 minutes to get home. I got home and I stayed outside in my car space speaking for another 40 minutes. And I just spoke and spoke and spoke. And then when I sort of like, I almost like came out for breath. It was almost like I'd been underwater. And I went upstairs and I kept on speaking. And by the end of that day, I had so much content, I didn't know what to do with it. But I kept on speaking for another 4 weeks. And that created Money Oracle because it was literally the spiritual connection or spiritual awareness of money, which has helped clients increase their offers, make more money, redesign their businesses, like just, you know, be able to ask for what they believe they want to charge, not based on what other people think they should charge or what they're scared of charging because they wonder if anybody was going to buy. It's helped me with making more money in the business than I have done in a couple of years. Like, it's just been great.
Brilliant. And so I love that you didn't know that was coming, and it's one of them things that I keep saying about, like, everything happens for a reason, and you had all this hardship, but then out of this hardship came this amazing program that's helped so many other people. So without knowing what downloads you're going to get next, like, what are your plans for the future?
The biggest plan is so at the time of speaking about this, I want to speak to 126 leaders and help them get their purpose. That's my goal for the next 30 days. It's a massive goal. It doesn't feel scary, but it's a massive goal. And that is like a massive thing for me. The next thing is to do live events. I am creating an audience with the African Oracle. So that's going to be huge, where people can come in and we can sit and have a conversation and find their purpose at the same time. So that's going to be huge. And just get to know my audience more, and for them to get to know me, and for us to find where we're going to live, whether it's virtually or physically. That's really important. And for now, I think that's a good space to be.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why we decided to do this, because you've had this struggle where in person, you're this magnet. And like we've said, everyone's coming up to you, everyone's talking to you, everyone wants to know more about you and what it is you do. Whereas translating that over on social media has been quite difficult, hasn't it?
It has been, yeah. I don't know what it is. I wish somebody could just,
What does your intuition tell you?
I haven't got a clue. I haven't got a clue. No, I don't know. I don't know what it is and stuff. But do you know what? And so it's like, again, like I say, it's also part of the path as well. It's like straining yourself to try and work it out. I don't think is the answer. It's like it'll just land. You know what I mean? It'll just. And when I say land, I'm not saying you don't need to make an effort or work towards it. But to me, having this conversation was really important. Like, just, and I still don't know how this is gonna go out. Like, it's not gonna go out in one bit. We're probably gonna do sort of like clips of it so that people get to see different sides. But it's more about just getting to see the person. But I believe that in live events are gonna really help more. But also I think just people getting to know who you are. I also believe this as well, and this has just dawned on me, that somebody coming across and saying I'm an African Oracle can be quite daunting for some people, because like it's like, oh my God, that's a title.
Yeah. What does this mean?
Yeah, and what does this mean? And and an African Oracle is simply, by my definition, is I'm a healer and I'm an intuit. So I use my hands, I use food, I use my words to heal you. And I can also use my intuition to help you to get the results that you want. And it's not a fixed definition, but that's what I do. And the healing doesn't necessarily mean sat there and waving my hands, even though pranic healing is that, and it's incredible and powerful. Sometimes it's just holding that space, but from a space where energetically my energy is quite high. I have eventually acknowledged that, because it's not something that I used to even pay attention to. But just having that space where people can come in, like again, the client from yesterday, you could tell that she'd been wanting to cry for years. You know what I mean? But she's had to be strong for her children. She has to be strong for her clients. You know what I mean? So it's like being in that place where you know that you can come in and release, but not just be held, but also to still keep the momentum going. Because at the end of the day, the tears, they're not permanent. That frustration is not permanent, but you want to create more sustainable results. You want to still leave there knowing that you've achieved something. They don't want somebody to come and just hug them and hold them. They also want to go away and get the respect from their peers and to create something, to find a way that's going to support their families. So it's a lot more deeper than that. So I think when people hear African Oracle, they think, oh my God, and because I've not been able to articulate. I, I've not been able to articulate what people get, how people feel, and everything else and stuff. It's like that's something that I've really worked hard at doing, and that's what we're going to do next.
So before I met you, the only time I'd ever heard the word oracle before was in The Matrix when he goes to
Oh,
see.
not the IT tool.
No, in The Matrix where he goes to see the woman, and I can't remember exactly what she says to him, but she basically tells him what he needs to do next, and I don't know what other people's experiences are of that term.
We should ask people, so that what do you think an oracle?
Yeah.
When you hear of an oracle or an African oracle, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And I think the dresses, whilst they're beautiful as well, I think that also adds to the mystique, and it's not intentional either. It's not intentional.
Yeah. I think what's really interesting for me is I feel like whenever we're talking, I always get feelings and things that I need to tell you. I'm always telling, like, you need to do this, you need to do that.
Yeah.
It's almost like I get messages on your behalf because you don't listen to you don't listen to yourself because you're too busy helping other people. So then I need to go, right, you need to do this. And I was thinking while you were talking, and like through the whole session, it's been a case of everything that's been happening that's been going well for you is always in person. So is the reason why the online stuff is not working and people aren't getting to know you as deeply through this online stuff is because you need to be out at these events where you meet these amazing people and these connections, and then that leads you to another connection, and then you go off to America for 3 months and you get invited to cook for these people, and this is all in the real world. It's not online.
Yeah, and it's like, so do I just stop coming offline? And again, that's the question, right? It's like,
Yeah.
so do you come offline? Like, how do you? Because the thing is, so let's face it, being online is economical, and you can target a lot of people in one go.
But does it make us lazy because instead of you going out to an event and chatting to lots of people and making those
I'd
deep
like to do
connections,
both.
we're then talking to people on a mass
I'd love to do
level?
both. I'd love to do both, and I think that's my frustration is
Getting the balance.
Yeah, getting the balance, or even just having the opportunity to. The thing is, though, it's like to me, it's almost like doing online is easier, but I also love going out in person as well.
And that's when I really see you come alive. Like we've been to Expert Empires together, and the big festoon, and even just when I came and met you in London the other day, and you were just sat talking to a random couple that you'd just met in the middle of London, and then these American people started talking to you. And that's it. And you're so good at just attracting those people towards you in real life.
Yeah, definitely. No, do you know what? So it's like what's really coming up is spending more time in town. It doesn't even have to be events. It's like,
so who did you meet 2 days ago where you were just you're just in London walking around, and then the next thing
do you know, can I just say though that recently things have been happening. I feel like me having a massive breakthrough, which after this we'll finish this bit and then we'll carry on. But after a massive breakthrough, I feel like things have opened up a lot. And there's somebody who I've been wanting to meet for years. Like, I think she's amazing. Like, I just love her. I love her. And I get to go to Loose Women. I get invited to go, which I'm very lucky to get invited. And I go and see Loose Women, watch it being recorded and everything else. And we've been as well.
We've been together.
And there's one person I've always wanted to meet, and it's Denise Welsh. And the other day, I came out of Holborn Tube Station. I was going for a meeting at the Rosewood Hotel. And as I literally came out, turned right, and there she was. I could have died. I don't... See, I admire people, but I don't go crazy over people. I wanted to somersault in front of her and do everything and stuff. and all I kept to say is, Vic, shut up. Just shut up. Just be careful. And all I did was I walked over and went, I've been looking for you for years. That's all I said and stuff. And she was lovely, and we took a beautiful picture and everything. But yeah, it was good. Sure enough.
And I think that's the thing. Like these people, when you're out, that you come across, and through telling your story today about how you saw the woman at the Tony Robbins event and how that led to you going to Cameroon and becoming an African oracle, and then all these different people that you've met along the way. It's all been like a physical connection. You've been drawn into each other's world.
Yeah, I mean, it'll happen and stuff, but it can't be one or the other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
that's it. And I feel like you've got this you've got a deep knowing, and so I think I asked you earlier about like what does the future look like for you, and you taled about the live events.
Are we
going to
wrap this up and do a different version of this?
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah.
We'll ask this last question
Okay,
then.
okay. Okay, so we're gonna cut this. Okay, ask this one then.
Ask this last question. So, going forward into the future, like what does your life look like in say 10 years time?
My dream is to sail the world on a yacht, healing people. Whether it's that clients come and meet me on that yacht, whether it means that companies bring their teams to the yacht, whether it's that we do remote sessions, it's about just traveling the world and not being stuck in one place, just literally just navigating the world as it is and having, spaces where I can do, whether it's sessions and classes or teachings. I don't know what's going to come up next. I don't know what I'm going to get given next, but to also enhance what I've already got, like I have sessions where people come in and spend a year with me, not forever, but they can work with me for a year. For people to be able to come over for their day sessions and come there and, day sessions if they want to, and like just literally just not being in one space, because some of my clients I've never met. I've got clients in Canada, I've got clients in South Africa, West Africa, America, Germany. Like I've got clients all over the world.
You're global.
I am global, and it'd be nice to be able to, whilst my clients are very okay with having me as a remote person, it'd be nice as well to be able to sort of like go, I'm here in person, let's work together. So yeah, that's the plan.
Amazing. I'm excited, and I love yachts, so I can't wait to come and visit you on your yacht.
You've not been invited yet. Not been invited
You
yet.
definitely will be inviting me. Right, well,
Thank you.
that's been a great
That was
conversation.
really good.
So
Thank you.
We'll wrap it up there.
Cheers. Have they left us? Kat? Prav? Have they gone?
No,
Okay.
there's someone there.
Oh, there's someone there. So what do we do next then? So we've got about an hour left. So what do we do next? Do we just good. So we've done it feels like,
You want to stop it there and then start again?
yeah, I feel like, so we've done like a podcast type thing. And I've not changed clothes. See, I knew there was something.
Yeah.
I've not changed clothes. So can I change? And then what time are you chucking me out? He's so funny. He thinks I'm hilarious. He just laughs at what I say.
It's at 3 o'clock, so you still have an hour.
Still have an hour. But we're a bit late starting, weren't we?
No, I mean, I can give you guys an extra 10, but like we
Yeah.
have a session right after.
Yeah, that'd be
So,
great.
yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Usually the setup comes in.
Oh, does it? Does it include that? I'll give us an extra 10. Won't tell anybody. Thanks, Brad. Okay, so this one was more like a conversation. So we can cut.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to work.
If you're okay with it, I'll keep the cameras rolling.
Is that okay?
Do you want that, or do you want?
No, that's fine. Keep it rolling because
for
it's
your
better.
download, just
Yeah,
one file, that
Yeah.
Multiple files.
Okay.
yeah, that's fine. Where can I change? Can I change in here? But can you,
I can show you where the washroom is, maybe.
I can't be bothered. It's just one
Yeah, it's
dress.
okay,
Can-
I'll be outside. I'm just gonna have my lunch if that's okay. I'll be right outside.
Perfect. I'm just going to take off a dress and put another one on. I promise you, it's not that deep. Thank you. Oh God.
Is that all right for you?
Yeah, that was.
I think you said a lot of good things. There's a lot of stories in there.
Yeah. I want to make sure that when I'm cutting it, anyway, it'll be an experiment. Thank you. What dress should I wear next?
What did you bring? Did you bring a yellow one?
No, I didn't bring the yellow because that's the one. I brought this instead.
Oh yeah.
I brought because the yellow didn't have. There's no bloody necklace. What was it? There's no necklace. So this one, I think, is one where I repeat. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what? I think I'll go to the blue anyway because I need to have a wee and stuff. It's alright. I'll open that for you. There we go. Oh.
Do you like need another drink or anything, or do you want?
Can I just get some water, please? Still.
Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Is that cash or are you still?
No, still drinking this one. Thank you.
Thank you. Another water would be good, thank you. Cheers. Thanks so much. Well, I've got a bottle. You can just top it up.
Okay, yeah.
Oh dear. Oops. Can I? Thank you so much.
No, no problem.
So something just dawned on me.
What?
You've worked with Ryan,
Yeah.
so you do the circle work.
Oh no, I'm not doing that.
Have you never been taught that?
I could, there's this.
Sorry.
What's it called?
Thanks so much, Kat. I appreciate it. Thank you. So we can just carry on recording now, right?
Yes, yes.
Perfect.
I think so rolling. So yeah, whenever you guys are ready.
The certification thing.
Yeah. What's your water? Yeah.
No, I've not done that. Should I do it?
You don't have to do it, but I thought he would have given you some.
I've got the access to it, to the certification that people go on. I think it's on a Wednesday or something, and do it. But
We're just like finishing up lunch right now. So if you guys need anything, feel free to like just holler at us. So I just want to let you know. All right.
Oh, if we need anything,
Yes, if you need anything.
we're good. Thank you.
Cool, cool.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Kat.
Yeah, no, of course.
Okay, so what would be really good is to ask the questions that we've got. But
look happy.
thank you. Can I see myself? I'll just have to do. I can't see. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. What was I going to say? Yeah. Look at you. I can never do it properly.
What, a selfie?
A selfie. No, I was just thinking that if you were doing it and stuff, then we could do circle work together because it's a lot better. Because then we can do the intuition stuff, but it's somebody else, which I see. That's why Ryan teaches it the way, because like you don't normally do it for yourself. Somebody else does it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the questions that are there,
The ones that the people have asked.
yeah, and then even if there's questions that you've repeated, but the ones that don't involve long stories, but like that can just go out. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Where have you?
Whew.
Yeah, there you are. Right. Okay.
Talk about the fact that Praveen didn't share his lunch with us and stuff. Like, just,
I know, where's our
talk about
lunch?
that. Just put it out there.
So,
Is my hair okay?
yeah. Fabulous.
Are we good?
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, let me have a bit of this.
Both of you are pretty, because most people are very soft spoken, so I keep it very close to them. But you guys are.
But we're loud.
Basically, you're saying that we're loud, so we don't
That's
need
why-
that.
that's why I was
It's
stuttering. I
okay,
didn't wanna say
Praveen.
that.
It's all right. It's all right. So basically, we're too loud. It's all right, Praveen.
If you want to tweak it up, you can do it
No.
when you're editing.
Yeah, that's
Thank
fine.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just asking a question. You're gonna repeat the question.
Repeat the question and
Or
just not go too
use the
loud.
question.
Or use the question, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so did you always know you had an energetic gift, or was it only once you trained as a pranic healer? It says.
Did I always know if I had an energetic gift? I knew there was something special about me. But they also tried to dull it down. Like there was someone in my life who made me feel as if I was always trying to be too big-headed. Like I knew there was something. I knew there was something different. But it seemed very much like fantasy. It was like, you can't do that. But I didn't attach it to energetic work, intuition, being an oracle, nothing like that. So no, I didn't.
Describe a moment when you almost gave up and what made you keep going.
I don't think I've ever almost given up in anything, but I've threatened to. The first time was when I was doing my degree at uni, and I thought it was the most difficult thing I'd ever done, just because I don't study like everybody else. Like I feel like I study very differently, but I didn't realize that then. I just knew that I didn't like taking exams, and I used to get really nervous. So I remember threatening, going to my lecturer and saying, if I don't get a 2.2 minimum, I'm not graduating. The other time giving up when I should have really thought of giving up was maybe about a year ago in business when things were just not making sense. But because it's my calling to do this work, to help people find their lives and love their lives and live purposeful lives, it was non-negotiable. So I had to just keep on going.
You help people discover their purpose through intuition. Have you ever read a purpose and been scared or shocked by what you felt?
No, not really, because you have to so this is the joy of having a purpose, right? It's like you're there to help people. So there's no reason why anything should be shocking or scary because you're there to help someone. The only reason why anything would come up that is remotely scary or not meant to be, maybe not meant to be shared, is if you go delving down routes that you're not meant to. There should be no reason. There should be no reason whatsoever. And here's the thing as well. You're gonna get me on a soapbox now. I have a huge issue. There's a reason why I don't do readings for people, because I feel like they're entertainment. I feel like people that do readings can be quite irresponsible. Because when you give someone a reading, then what? They leave and they go and live their lives. So who's there to look after them if anything else comes up? It's instant gratification, and life isn't about instant gratification. So that whole thing of, oh, could it be scary or could it be not and stuff, it's like, no, you guide people through life. It's not about, oh, well, if you don't do this, then this is going to happen. Oh, this is coming towards you. That's not your job. That's not your job, because if you're telling somebody something wrong or something bad, what are you doing to help support them through it? Because all you're doing then is leaving people with a whole lot of trauma. And my job is to connect you to the truth, not to your trauma.
So do people ever have a negative purpose? Like, is
No.
somebody who murders somebody, is it their purpose to commit that murder?
No.
Repeat the question, please.
Does anybody have, what was it? Does anybody have a negative purpose? No, nobody has a negative purpose. You're put in the world to help people. You're here to serve. Now, that service may not necessarily be palatable to everybody, but you're not here to destroy somebody else. That's not your job. There's a whole deeper level of truth that would be connected to that.
So why do people go down a bad path away from the purpose?
Because they get scared. They allow emotions connected to fear, anxiety, stress. They don't look after themselves spiritually enough to be able to deter them from that. And a lot of the time, if you speak to people who go and do bad things, it's out of desperation. It's normally to try and get a result and for selfish purposes. It's one of the things where they say, if you're feeling like you don't have something, give that to others and you'll get it back.
Since you have started following your purpose, do you have times when you think, gosh, I don't want to do this anymore, or does it continually light you up?
Never. It never. I've never felt like I don't want to do this. I get frustrated when I don't get the results I want, but I've never thought to myself, I'm never going to do this. Like, I know, so it's so rooted within me that every morning when I wake up, I know what I'm here to do. Like, without a shadow of a doubt. Even in some of the most frustrating of days, I know why I'm here. I know what I'm here to do. The how sometimes escapes me, like how to make it scalable and how to grow it sometimes escapes me. But the what and the why, Non-negotiable.
Okay. Do you want me to ask some of the questions that I asked earlier, but with you repeating them back, or are you going to cut? Are you going to edit?
What do you want to do? What do you think it would do? I think you've got other questions to ask
I
me.
think I've got other questions. Okay, 1 second then. Let's see what I haven't asked you.
You know the whole thing of there's something actually that funnily enough actually, and the thing
I
is,
want you to talk a bit more about manifestation, I think. 'Cause I think that's quite like people understand manifestation. It's on trend, isn't it?
yeah, but people don't come out. People don't. Oh, cyber attacks. People don't connect me to manifestation, but I'm happy to talk about it. They don't connect me to manifestation.
Maybe that's your way in.
I tried it.
Did you?
I
With
tried
the
it with
Manifestation Kitchen.
It didn't connect. It didn't connect. It didn't connect. But God, sorry, ChatGPT. I do love you, but flaming heck, trying to come up with what I said and what you said and. Sorry. What do you think people are missing? My whole thing is like, when people, here it is, it's like, okay. It talks about, like the whole pivoting, project management, pivoting, it's almost like I feel like I need a whole, what's the word? Prompter.
Do you want to talk? Because you're going to be launching. What are you launching? The Money and Business Oracle
Money Business
trilogy.
Oracle.
Is it a trilogy now? Or
Yeah,
yeah.
the trilogy, and also the cap as well. Let's talk about that. Yeah,
CAP.
yeah,
What's CAP? Talk about it.
yeah. So, can people see that? Can people see that? Can you see that? No, can't. Can you see what's on here? No.
No.
So CAP is my clarity, alignment, and purpose experience. Why did I create that? Because a lot of my clients will come to me and they say to me, I feel like something's missing. I feel like I'm not living a purposeful life. And you can see the pain of not having that. Now, I created the clarity, alignment, and purpose experience because it isn't just about giving someone their purpose. It's about giving people that clarity in their life so that they can go away and be ready to receive their purpose. Because everybody can be given their purpose, but not everybody goes away and does what they need to do with their purpose. So you get given your purpose, and some people go and get distracted. People sort of like self-sabotage themselves. People haven't addressed what's holding them back. So what I've decided to do is create an experience where you can come in with a group of people and find out what your purpose is, but also spend time really priming yourself and preparing yourself for that purpose. So we touch on different elements like, what does it mean to receive? Like, and where else in your life are you not receiving? And it could be as little as allowing someone to open your door for you. And if you're like me, I used to be that person going, no, I've got it. But actually, opening yourself to receiving can also then allow you to receive bigger things in your life. So we have a 6-week experience where you go through your purpose, you get some healing done as well. So pranic healing is part of that. But then you get people who come to me and say, well, I can't wait for 6 weeks. I would love to experience this as quickly as possible. And that's where you come on to like my 90-minute session, where you come on and you experience this incredible, powerful experience where you get given your purpose there and then. And we go through all the low-hanging fruit problems that you've been experiencing in your life, or maybe questions that you've been too scared to ask or too embarrassed to ask, but then everything gets resolved. So when you leave, about 90, I would say 90, 100% of my clients have left with either feeling an 8 or a 9 out of 10, and normally they come in feeling like a 4 out of 10.
What could somebody do today who doesn't know the purpose, but what could they do to take them closer to their purpose?
If you don't know your purpose today and you're trying to get closer without coming to see me, I would say write down everything that you're currently doing and reflect on it and meditate on what you're doing. A lot of people will say to you, well, go for what makes you happy. Go for what you enjoy doing. Those are great as well. But I'm a really good example that when I got given my purpose, I was not excited about all of this. I didn't know what I was going to do. I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy it. And it took me a while to embody my purpose. So it's more about having a look and just seeing, doing this in a really quiet space, but having a look at what you do, and then just seeing whether any part of your body or any part of your inner sense sort of like takes a leap, because it's all there. Your purpose is already there. Your purpose meets you before you meet your purpose. It's just that you need someone to pull it out and then give you a plan on where to take it next. And that's the biggest thing.
What would you say to somebody who thinks they don't have a purpose?
Everybody's got a purpose. So in a nutshell, when you're born, you get given your breath, you get given your intuition, and then you get given your purpose. But society seduces you away from those three things. How does it do that? As soon as you're born, your parents, your family, or whoever brings you up will start to project their fears onto you. As soon as you start being scared or cautious, what happens? Your breathing becomes more shallow. So straight away, you're taking your breath away from you. Next is your intuition. Your intuition is something that you're born with, this innate knowing. You see babies today, babies who are born now are very clever. Like, they can tell what's going on. They know, they can feel if they're in a safe space or not. But we get taken away from it again by making us scared, making us feel not safe. And guess what? When you're feeling scared or worried, what happens? You start thinking with your head. So literally, you stop thinking here and you start thinking with that. That's where you take your intuition away from it. And then your purpose, equally, if you're not using your intuition, the likelihood of connecting to your purpose is very, very little. So you're pretty much thinking with your head. So you're doing what you think other people need you to do, or things that fit with society, as opposed to what just connects here.
How can we improve our intuition?
Food. Food is really important. Fresh food, so live food. The less processed foods you have, the better your intuition. So, for example, if you have takeaways, I don't know, and I love cooking, right? I love cooking. I don't know anyone who cooks for a takeaway that loves their job. What do I mean by that? It becomes a mass production, which means that the energy from it is diluted because you're just doing something to achieve numbers more than what your mom would do when she cooked for you, you know, or your dad would do when they cook for you, or your sister would do. Like, when they're cooking, it's all about love. It's all about, I really want to cook for them because I want them to enjoy it. They're going to come and we're going to spend time together. Already the emotion is in there. So if you're eating food that's been processed or that is a takeaway and stuff, the likelihood is that you're going to dull your intuition. Having a form of practice in the morning will really help with your intuition. So even just being in quiet, you know, meditating, prayer, that will really help because you're going deeper within yourself. You're not coming up with your head. It may not make sense to you, but you do it just to connect to your deeper self. How you speak to yourself as well. Like if you're speaking to yourself and you're not being very nice to yourself, so you call yourself stupid, idiot, all those things as well, like that self-talk will take away the intuition, because why would your intuition work for you if you don't like it? If you're giving it words that don't encourage it to come out. So there's there's so many different aspects, you know. Who you spend time with. Who you spend time with is really important. If you spend time with people who drain your energy, it's going to affect your intuition. Who you're intimate with. If you're someone who allows yourself to be with a lot of people intimately, then you're allowing their energy to come into yours, and sometimes that energy doesn't necessarily serve you, so it's going to affect your intuition. So there's different ways that this can affect you. So you've got to be really careful.
Let's talk about pranic healing.
What are you thinking when you're looking at me like that?
I'm thinking about what I'm going to ask you next.
Oh.
So, who should come to you for pranic healing?
So pranic healing is the one space where I'd say I don't discriminate with who comes to work with me. So anybody who feels as if they've got something that's emotional that's affecting them, or something that's physical, needs to come for pranic healing. Pranic healing is an incredible modality where we use life force energy to help people, and it is non-invasive. So we don't touch you with our hands. We literally we literally don't touch you, but we can pull the energy that's no longer needed. So the dirty energy, we can pull it out, and then we can replace it with brand new energy that can really help you with the results that you need. Some of my clients, I had one client in South Africa who was detained in a psychiatric ward indefinitely, and after I think 4 or 5 sessions of pranic healing, they were given a date of release, and they worked with me for a year on and off, and now they are vibrant, doing incredibly well, back studying and doing work as well. They're a lot more in line with their family. It's just like a really fantastic, piece of work and modality to work with. Like I say, my teacher, Les Flitcroft, has been instrumental in guiding us and helping us through that. And his teacher, Master Chokoksui, as well. His books, his teachings have been phenomenal. Other clients who've really, had massive turnarounds. I've got one client who experienced addiction to alcohol. Again, pranic healing helped them with that. I'm actually doing some healing tonight with some clients. And, we've got even clients who's experienced, this morning actually, somebody sent me a message saying, I need healing sessions around my anxiety. So again, very easy to pull out. And I've got a client who's just recovering from cancer who has sessions as well. So it's literally, it could be as little as a bump in the head to experiencing severe trauma. Pranic healing will help you treat that.
I know you sometimes use like a crystal when you're doing the
Yeah.
healing. Can you
Yeah.
talk about that?
So the crystal magnifies the treatment. So when we use our hands, we use our hands in most cases, especially when we're in public. But when we use the crystal is there to speed up the healing. So it just generates more energy.
So what's coming to me now? Like if somebody feels like they've got some healing powers, what should they do?
That's a very good question, actually. So if someone feels like they've got healing powers and they don't know where to go, I would always suggest, in my case, I would get in touch with the Institute of Pranic Healing. Why would I say that? Because there you can learn the inner truths and decide where your path is. I wouldn't start healing people unless I'm insured. So you need to understand sort of like what that looks like, because if if you go and say you're going to go help someone and then something happens to someone, you're going to be held responsible. So you need to be you need to be cautious about the healing. You need to make sure that you're insured, that you've got the right information. What tends to happen is a lot of healers become very trigger happy, and they go to several teachers and stuff, and they find out which one's theirs, which is fine. You need to find your home. But I would recommend, as somebody who has worked in I've worked in Selfridges as part of my spirituality. I've learned from a spiritual center. I would say the most spiritually hygiene for me would be to go into pranic healing and learn from there, and then understand whether that's where your path lies or not. But at least then you'll have the knowledge to decide where you need to go.
What's the difference between pranic healing and Reiki? And I don't know if there's any other types of healing.
I'm not an expert at any of these, but the way that's been explained to me by my teacher is that pranic healing is like Reiki on speed.
Is that the end of your answer?
That's it. It is, yeah. That's what I've been taught. That's what I've been taught and stuff. It's like I've had someone try and do Reiki on me once. I felt nothing. It made no difference to me. I don't know. But I know that when I do pranic healing, even on myself, I can feel the difference straight away and stuff. So I can't really speak for Reiki. I know a lot of Reiki people who do pranic healing, and they find that pranic healing has got a lot more possibilities than Reiki. It's just more advanced. It's like anything, right? You get an upgrade, right? You just keep on getting an upgrade. So that's where it is.
Okay, I don't think you talked about your clarity,
Clarity, alignment, and purpose.
Alignment and purpose, but you didn't talk about your business and money oracle.
So, if you want to, no, let me start again. Imagine not knowing where to go in your business or in your career. And you get given the clarity that allows you not just to transform your life, but the life of those around you, and possibly even make money, like a whole ton of money. Then I've got something for you. It all started with Business Oracle. Business Oracle was where you connected the soul of your contract. Then I introduced Money Oracle, where you get to redefine and understand your relationship with money. And the more we did this work, we realized that actually your life is paramount as well. The relationships that you create, understanding the relationships that you create, how you allow people into your life, how you navigate those relationships, how you navigate even going into meetings, how you manage conflict, how you reach a resolution, how you can go back and be in line with your families even when you deal with a stressful day or month. How do you reconnect with your families? So Oracle Trilogy embodies all these three. It is the most spiritual entity that I've created. And you are going to leave feeling as if your life has been propelled to a completely different realm, so that you feel absolute certainty and conviction in everything that you do, which is then going to allow you to create the results that you possibly only dreamed of. I've got clients, like I say, the most successful one created a £2.3 million contract. We had someone else who created a contract that we can't even talk about because it is that high and yet so secretive. But we've also had people who've increased their monthly takings by £1,000. We've had someone else who's gone from no clients to being fully booked. So if you want to experience something very different that blends strategy and spirituality, that allows you to delve into elements of manifestation, but blends it with a level of momentum, Oracle Trilogy is what you want to have a look at.
So you've mentioned God quite a few times. Do people need to believe in God to work with you? And if they don't, how does that impact?
That's a good question.
work?
So no, so you don't need to believe in God. That is not a prerequisite to work with me. I believe in God, and I believe that He has been paramount in everything that I do, especially when I hit rock bottom. And I don't apologize for it. I don't, and I have no intention of diluting it. I would say this though, is that if someone feels uncomfortable about working with me because I mention God, then that is their God given right not to work with me. And that's okay. And there's no hard feelings. But equally, I always think of Tony Robbins when I talk about this, because Tony believes in God. And he'll always say, listen, I believe in God. Whatever you believe in, that's up to you, but I'm still going to help you. And it's the same thing. It's like you decide whether you want to come in or not. There's nothing you need to do. The most important thing is, are you getting what you need from me? Because if you're getting what you need from me, then you need to come and work with me. And if you're not, then you don't. And I'm under no illusion that I'm for everyone. You just need to find your person.
If someone wants to work with you one-to-one, how would that look?
Working with me one-to-one can be for a year, or it can be for a day. No, it can't. Working with me one-to-one can be for a year, or it can be for 90 minutes. You just need to decide what you want to get out of it. And then come and see me. Do you want me to go deeper? Look at your face.
I want to know. So, like, if I'm working with you for a year, what's it going to look like?
So working with me for a year is like having me in your pocket. We yes, we go through your purpose. Yes, we get you to embody what that looks like, as well as grow your business. But you're going to have me on hand as you're growing, to have me on hand to intuitively guide you through the different steps of your business. But most importantly, we're also going to look at your home life. We're going to make sure that your life is aligned as well, and also your relationship with money. You're also going to be able to get me into some of your meetings. So a client the other day got me involved in a family meeting. They were like, we've got a family meeting and this is going to kick off. So we need you there. And I had to have some involvement in there. And listen, I don't need to come and sit there so that all your family members can see me, but it could be that, my energy is planted into that space so that I can make sure that everybody gets what they need from the meeting, and that everybody leaves feeling as if they've resolved their conflict as well. So it just varies what you need. When you come to me, you tell me what you need and we tailor it. So it's not a fixed format when we work one-to-one. The same goes if we work for 6 months, or if you come in to me for, say, 3 months. Very similar, but we need to be realistic. What we can achieve in a year isn't necessarily the same that what we can achieve in 3 months. I'm not saying your results can't be as impressive, but the work that we do together would need to sort of like be shifted around. And then if you come and work with me for a day, I don't do day sessions as much anymore, but this is where we look at your business or your life and we strategize it. But we're strategizing it from a place of intuition. So we really look at the problems that are holding you back. And I also tap into the one thing that holds you back, so that we can break it down so that you can see a more enhanced pivot of your life. So that's what the one-to-one looks like. And then the 90 minutes is very much you come in, you get your purpose, you get your plan, and you go out there and you change the world.
Okay, so let's forget about business for a little while.
Business.
Tell me, what do you enjoy doing with your spare time apart from ringing me?
What do I love doing in my spare time? Do you know what? I'm really sad, but I just love reading stuff about my business. Like I think, do you know what? I feel like I am obsessed with my business. I think that's what I am. I'm obsessed with finding the solution to make the business better. And I do that a lot in my spare time. And that's not everybody else's idea of fun. But I love it. I just love it. I just love sat there looking at stuff and going, that's going to work, that's not going to work, that's going to work, that's going to work. What else do I do? I love cooking. Cooking if I didn't do this, I'd be cooking. If I didn't do healing, I'd be cooking for sure. Yeah, I'd be cooking 100%. I love cooking. Like I can cook anything out of anything. I walked into the house the other day and I said to my sister, I was on the phone to my sister, and I was like, I need to cook this. And it was a particular meal. And as I was talking to her, I literally put it all together and I literally made it and I was eating it by the time she got off the phone. And she was like, you're so bang out of order. I was like, yeah, I love cooking. I love like food. Food excites me. Good food. I love being the center of attention of cooking. Like when I'm cooking, I want people to eat. Like I just love feeding people. Like that's one of my joys is just cooking for people to eat. I don't understand it when somebody says they can't cook. I don't understand that. Like it makes no sense to me. I'm like, what do you mean? Like there's ingredients, just put them together. So when somebody says, oh, I don't know how to cook, I'm like, yeah, I can't connect to that at all.
What else do you do for fun?
I love watching people. Put me in a nice shade with not much sun and just as long as there's a loo nearby where I can go and have a wee on the odd occasion, I could watch people for life. I love watching people. I think it's just I think it's one of life's mysteries, just watching people. I love talking to people. I love I don't even call it connecting, but I do. I love like if I spoke to people every day on a regular basis all the time, I'd be a size 8. I'd just because I wouldn't think of food. I just love talking to people. I think they're amazing. I used to really love going to the gym, but I'm dealing with a sore back a bad back right now, so I'm working on that. But I used to love it used to be my top hobby was going to the gym. I used to love spinning. Love spinning a lot. Like when I climbed Kilimanjaro, one of the preps was to spin twice a day. I used to spin in the morning at 6 o'clock, and I used to spin in the evening every single day till I traveled. Yeah, that was really good. What else do I love doing? I love absorbing information. I am an information junkie, and I don't feel like I absorb as much as I want to, but I do. I just love listening to stuff. I love listening to, you know, I could listen to Myron Golden all day. I could listen to Russell Brunson all day. Yeah, there's always stuff. I believe there's always stuff that you can learn, and I love listening to people speak. Like I'm obsessed by, listening to people speak and how they speak and the vibration of how they speak. One of the things that I'm actually looking into is to have oratory lessons. So not just speaking, but the beats to somebody speaking and stuff. So it's like when I listen to Myron, I can hear the vibration of how he speaks and stuff, and it's very spiritual and everything else and stuff. And I want to really sort of like get into that. What else do I like doing? I used to love watching TV a lot until I got rid of my TV. I've not had a TV for 9 years. I won't even say I love watching films, but if I'm lucky to watch a film a month, like I just don't do it. I watched a film the other day called Head of States, and I really enjoyed it and stuff. But it was like, as I was watching it, I was like, you haven't watched a film in months? Like this is it. This is your first film.
Watch Netflix.
Yeah, that's it on Netflix. Sorry, I'm trying to sort my hair out, and I'm hoping that it's not being this crap the whole time.
It looks good. Have a look at yourself.
I can't see.
Put your glasses on and have a look at yourself.
Oh, can't see, can I? You do, yeah. Anyway, yeah. So it's good because it's on this side anyway. What now? How long's that been like that? Oh, flaming! I'm gonna have to redo it all over again. What else? Yeah, I don't know. I think I love it. I enjoy doing it. I love travel. I love travel. I don't do enough travel anymore. I love travel, but I think I've just numbed that down because of where I am in life and business. That I'm like, if you think about it too much, you're gonna miss it. But I love travel.
Where is one place that you've always wanted to go that you've not been?
I wouldn't mind going to Italy. I've never experienced
You've
Italy.
never been to
No,
Italy?
I've never been to Italy. But I'd want to go with a friend.
Me?
All right, then.
You do know I'm a quarter Italian.
Oh, I know you're quite Italian.
I've got an Italian passport.
Have you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go then. So we can go do some stuff there. And if we get arrested, then I've got you as backup. Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Italy. I've never experienced it. Like, I'd love to go to Italy and just go through all like the little streets and just eat pizza till I'm stuffed. That'd be amazing. Yeah, I know, travel's my big thing. Travel's my big thing. Give me a yacht any day. Give me a yacht. Like, my yacht's a big thing.
Have you been on a yacht before?
I think I have. Yes, I have. Sure, I have.
Can we just manifest a yacht trip right now?
Well, somebody did offer me a boat last week, but I don't think it's a yacht. I think it's more like a pirate boat and stuff. But it's a good size one.
Nice.
I want a proper yacht. And so I think I have been on a yacht. For some reason, I feel like I have. I feel like if I say I haven't, I feel like I'm lying, and I don't know why. I have been. I think I've been when I went to Antigua, and where else? Mexico. Yeah.
What's the best holiday you've ever been on?
Oh, flaming heck. Now that's a question. I loved my 40th because this was when Facebook wasn't massive, but I invited every single person on my Facebook friends list, and I invited everybody to my 40th, and I was going to spend 8 days in Vegas and 8 days in New York, and it was the best time ever. Like, oh, I had fun. I had so much. It's when I used to drink a lot, and I had the best time. Like, I got sunstroke. It was just amazing. Like, the food, the people, the dancing, the things we got up to. We got let into so many places that you're probably not even allowed to get into. It was just amazing. It was just amazing. And New York was equally as fun. Mexico, when I went to Mexico, I've never been to another nightclub that's beat it since, but we went to a nightclub called Coco Bongos, and it was just amazing. It was like Cirque du Soleil, but it was a nightclub. And they'd put you on a circle, and in the middle, there was a bar, and they were just throwing tequilas at you and stuff as you drink them, and they chuck more at you, and you just drink. Oh, it was amazing. It was like, I left, and I was like, I need to come back to Coco Bongo. My sister's just been to Mexico, and I went, go to Coco Bongos, and she's like, I don't think so. But yeah, I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I think I like Antigua because it's got one of the best beaches. One of the best beaches. Like, it's just stunning. But I'm a bit of a contradictory in terms because I don't like just laying by the beach, but I also don't want to do any tourists. I don't want to go tour around, go walking around, looking at anything and stuff. So it's almost like you need to entertain me whilst I'm there trying to lie on the beach, but you just need to bring stuff to me and entertain me whilst I'm there. And I think the best thing to do while I'm on the beach is bring people that I've never met before to talk to them, and just keep on bringing food and drink and food and drink and food and yeah, that would be my favorite one.
No, love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. But no, I love travel. I think it widens, it widens your horizons and stuff. But I'm also someone who, one of my biggest, and I'm sure it's not one of my biggest, but one of my biggest downsides is I don't see moderation as a thing. So it's like when I go on holiday, I think to myself, well, I want to be here for 5 weeks. I don't think 2 weeks is enough and stuff.
All or
like,
nothing.
yeah, it's all or nothing. Like, I want to just be there for, I want to just continuously and stuff. But I also love going back to Cameroon, where my parents are from and stuff. And, it's getting a bit more trickier. But when I go back to Cameroon, I love it. I love, I love I go there specifically for my dresses, and obviously see my mom. But the food, yeah. But when I go back home and stuff, it's nice.
I was going to say, where do you feel most at home?
Here, London. Yeah. I think Cameroon has got something, But when I'm in London, everything makes sense. Your face. She's like, that's not the answer I wanted. She's like, that's not the answer.
I thought you were going to say Leeds.
But do you know, this is, again, contradictory in terms. So, we've still got time. Sorry, I'm sure
3 o'clock.
Praveen is going to come and chuck us out in a bit anyway. But, so, I was born in Leeds. So being born in Leeds means that I have a huge affliction for Leeds, especially the fish and chips. I won't eat fish and chips anywhere else in the world apart from Leeds. I don't see the point. I don't think they taste as good. Like if you brought fish and chips in front of me and said choose the Leeds one, I'd be able to tell you. That's how much I won't eat fish and chips. So I had fish and chips about 6 months ago. And prior to that, I hadn't had fish and chips for about 3 years. And it's not because they don't sell fish and chips near me, or I've not been to a place where they sell fish and chips, because I just won't have it there. Cameroon has part of my soul because my ancestors are from there. And my dresses are made from there. And I love the whole process of that, which I'll talk to you about afterwards. But I love the whole process of my dressmaking there. London is my home of choice. And I'm here because I chose to live here, and the relationships that I've built are built not because of blood, not because of family, but just because of me, and that's what London gives me, and also the fact that I can leave London and get to anywhere else in the world very quickly. So I really love that.
Were you going to talk about your dresses?
Yeah. So you may see my dresses and think, oh my God, these dresses are amazing. They go through a process. I normally start to visualize my dresses over a period of time. So I kind of know what sort of designs I'm going to want, what sort of colors I want to incorporate. I always make sure I have a purple and gold at some point because of my brand colors. But anything else is just a given. If I'm traveling to Cameroon, which is where I get my dresses made, I make sure that my dressmakers, and I have a minimum of 2 that know my style, they know I'm coming. So then they go to the markets and we do like an online shop with each other. So they go in and we do a WhatsApp call and we go through the market together. And I go, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And then I will send them designs that I want, or I will design something and send it to them. And they start making it. So by the time I get to Cameroon, I already have a minimum of 10 dresses waiting for me. Bear with me, it's a whole process. Then when I get there, I have appointments with these 2 dressmakers. And we carry on sewing. And we carry on shopping. And either I go to the market, they go to the market. Normally, I enjoy going myself because what I see through somebody else's eyes or what I see through my eyes are very different. And then we bring it all together. And there is never a limit on what can be made. I have skirts made. I have dresses made. The one thing that I never get made in Cameroon and I need to start doing are tops. I seem to fail every single time because I get excited by the thought of dresses because I find dresses easier to make. I feel like once you've done a dress, who needs a top or a skirt, right? It's all done. But I feel like a skirt and a top would be nice as well. So it is a whole, I find it like a very spiritual experience. And then I come home and I have a look at them and I wear them and then I go, I have no more dresses. I need more outfits. And that's where I am right now. So next trip to Cameroon, we're going to have some more dresses made.
No, looking forward to it. Is there anything else you want to say?
How many minutes we got left?
Well, it's after 4 minutes past 3.
We've still got
So
4
we get
minutes.
Kicked out.
We've got 4 minutes. Pravin's not chucked us out yet. Ask me, what else do you want to know?
Mm.
Pravin, what question have you got for me? Huh? Ask me a question. Mm. I'm going to do a question to put in here. You've seen me. Ask me a question. Okay. Is that it? Ask me another one.
I've known you for like 20 minutes.
I
First
know.
thing that came to my head.
Been here for 2 hours, Pravin.
No,
Pravin's like, go, please leave.
no.
Okay. Fashion inspiration. I'll give you a fashion inspiration. Okay, I'll answer that. Thank you. My biggest fashion inspiration. My biggest fashion. Do you know what? My inspiration for fashion is not a particular person, but it is something that I stand by. As a big woman, I believe that you should dress to suit your body rather than dressing to suit fashion. So I'm of that generation when the only plus size shop used to be Evans. And if you were lucky, you could get into Monsoon. So I always used to feel restricted in the dresses that I would wear. And as soon as I had the accessibility to make my outfits, I went crazy because here's the thing, you can still have the same design, but you can have it designed to suit your body. So I go for big sleeves. I love big sleeves, but I don't want big sleeves necessarily all over and stuff. I love off the shoulder. I like my neck. I like to show off my neck. I like dresses that are long. It's just easier. That's it.
What's your favourite meal to cook?
My favorite meal to cook. Oh God. I love a grill. I love just to put in like grilled meat or grilled fish. But my favorite meal to eat in the whole wide world that would keep me happy and keep me shut up for a generation is an African meal called ndole. I'm going to cook it for you one day. It is a mixture of peanuts, blended peanuts, and something called bitter leaf. So it's a dark leaf called bitter leaf. It's really bitter. It gets washed with salt. It takes out all the bitterness. It is the most glorious meal ever. And I have it with plantains. Oh, it's delicious. I can have it with yams, but I have it mainly with plantains. Or sometimes I'll literally sit there and eat it on its own. It's just, you can cook it with meat. You can cook it on its own with no meat, with the vegans out there. Or you can have it with prawns. Oh, God, it's just delicious. I made it 2 weeks ago. I made it and I put like different pots out. And I think I had it for about 2 weeks nonstop because it was just so delicious. I love it.
Love it.
Are we done?
Have we done? Think we've done?
Thank you.
Do you feel like you've got enough stuff?
Don't know. If not, we're coming back. Well, poor Pravin.
Well, I enjoyed it. I'm like,
Thank
oh,
you.
I want a podcast studio and I want to interview some more people.
I
now.
know, right? Well, you need to become friends. Well, you're friends with Danny and stuff, and she's got her she shed, hasn't she?
Yeah, yeah.
So you can go there. Ask if you can get access to it.
I will.
Now, here's the hassle. Can I be bothered to change? It's 3 o'clock. What are we doing?
What time's my train?
We're only about.
And I'm hungry. I need some food.
I need food. Where's the best place to eat around here?
My train is in an hour and 20 minutes.
So you haven't got time.
Not got loads of time. Sit down.
I think. Excuse me. I think. Oh my God. I think we go to King's Cross
Yeah,
and get something to eat from there.
yeah.
Because then you've got,
Like that Leon place or something.
yeah,
I like it there.
short and sweet. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
We're doing another picture.
Yeah, I feel like I want to get a picture where I can get us in
Oh
and
God.
get.
God. What are we doing? Are we doing that or that?
I'll do this way.
Ooh. Can't see myself. See, I can't. Oh, there we go.
Turn around.
Oh, there you go. Oh, my neck.
That doesn't look great. No, it looks better from over there. That's fine.
Is that okay?
That's good.
You've taken the pictures. You can just send them over.
Yeah, I will.
Right. Thanks, Pravin. Oh dear. You've been amazing.
You I like that answer. That was great.
Did you like it?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thank you.
it was a good answer.
I,
Actually.
I feel
It
like
was
you
a
said
very normal question, but the answer made it interesting.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Sometimes, like you just needed that question. Your brain started ticking,
Yeah,
and you're
exactly.
like,
Yeah.
"Well, I've not got anyone who's
Yeah.
an
If
inspiration."
that TikTok blows up, I feel like I owe a little percentage for that. Thank you.
we need to talk to Jimmy about you. I liked you before and stuff. Right now, I'm not so sure. Thank you so much. That was
Thank you, guys.
amazing.
It's like the new studio. Yeah.
Do you know what? I prefer it to the one in Barnes.
Really?
Yeah,
No way.
yeah.
This broke my heart.
I'm sorry.
Why? But I thought this was yours.
Yeah, it kind of is. Yeah, but she.
Oh, no,
you
she
prefer
prefers this
more than
one.
Barnes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought she said I prefer Barnes.
No. I prefer this one more than Barnes. I feel like this is a lot more accessible. Like
Fantastic.
it's easier to walk. I think it's more like a living room. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong, the boys did really good in Barnes, but I feel like this is more. Yeah.
Feels like home.
Yeah, you don't realize that you're in a studio and stuff,
Yeah.
and also the fact that it's not. See, with Barnes and stuff, it's like it's off the road, then into
Yeah.
the office, then into the studio.
Yeah.
Here, it's like you've got multi layers before you go anywhere. So
Yeah.
already, I think the sound works better
Right,
because, like in Barnes, you can hear people speaking in outside. It doesn't infiltrate into the video.
But
But
it's distracting.
It's
While you're
distracting.
there.
Yeah, like you can still hear it sometimes. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but yeah, you can hear it sometimes. Oh my God, my knees. Oh my God. Yeah, but I do like it. I like it a lot.
Fantastic.
It's made me think that I'll come back for more.
Oh, amazing.
I think I don't know how many credits I've got left.
How much does it cost for 3 hours of this?
75 an hour.
75 an
75
hour.
an hour.
But I had credits, so I think I had 4 or 5 credits. And I think I've used 3 today. So I think I've got like 1 left. And I think I said to myself that if we liked it, then we could come in and do 1. Yeah, but I want to see how this will come out. So how soon do I get this?
You'll get it tonight.
Really? Oh, wow. Look at you. Okay. Now, I had flip-flops, and I have no idea what I've done with them.
Oh, is that right there?
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Oh, bless you. Thank you.
worries, yeah.
I can't help myself. Wherever I go, I just literally get rid of stuff, and it's like, I do. I just throw stuff around. Like, it's like, I can't help myself. I'm going to change into that. I'm going to take that. Make sure that the next people can come and have fun. Oh, look, that looks so stunned. Oh, can you take some pictures of this, Rochelle? Where's your
Yeah.
phone? You take a picture of that. Just take a picture of that.
What?
The logo.
Oh,
Looks
it's the
amazing.
logo.
Yeah. Looks really good, actually.
Right, how do you want it?
Whatever. It just looks really good, doesn't it? Looks really
Yeah.
good. I know. Can't take me anywhere. I mean, thank you so much. How long's the next?
I just have like one more person coming in.
Okay.
And then I'm done. And then we have a few people that I need to train. We're getting some weekend staff.
Oh,
So it's going to be fun. We'll see how they are.
cool. And this is your full-time job? I can't
This
even
is my foot. I'm a musician, so that's my thing. So,
Oh.
You play the guitar?
I'm a singer actually.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm a singer
Oh, Lord
too.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I have singing lessons.
See?
I love singing. Do you sing in a band?
No, just me like,
You?
before I write my own songs.
Oh,
Where can we find you?
Oh yeah, I'm on Instagram.
Are you on TikTok?
I'm trying to grow. I have like 30 followers there, so I don't usually, you know.
We're growing our TikTok. She's doing really
Really?
well, Brian. Yeah,
I'm actually, I promised myself I'm gonna hit like 100,000 followers this year
yeah.
on Instagram, and yeah, my previous reel hit 300,000 in 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So I'm gonna.
So what's your Insta name?
Oh yeah, it's Xmax.
X-Max.
X-Man.
Brilliant.
Oh yeah, found you. Came up straight away just with X-Man.
Oh, can you send me? Just share that.
See you guys.
Lovely to meet you. Where do you play?
Tonight I'm actually busking in Covent Garden.
That's my
Yeah.
favorite place.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
That's my favorite place.
Oh,
I
wow.
council lets me because the council like took away my license.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh no. Why?
Well, they took away the spot in Piccadilly Circus. That
Right.
used to be my spot. So I performed there
Oh.
once, and they were like, wow.
Well, I'm sending you God's blessings that it happens. Yeah. Where do your parents live?
South Indian.
South
But
Indian.
most of my family live in the US.
Oh,
But
do they?
I'm close with only my parents, and they live in South India. So
Do you go back and see them?
I'm actually going to go this October after 2 years because I did my master's, and then I was part of like a rom-com. So we
Masters in what?
films. So I love producing films and music.
You're so my best mate now. Tell Jamie he's dumped.
And you go back in August. What did you say about a rom-com?
Oh yeah, I produced a rom-com last year, so I was completely. That's how I met Jamie because this location was one of the locations we used in the film.
Oh.
And then I met Jamie, and I was like, once I'm done with the shoot, we can talk about this. And they kind of opened it, so I started managing the batch by myself.
Yeah, I've known Jamie for about 2-3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and they've been talking about expanding and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah, I prefer this. It's closer to my home.
Oh, amazing. Love
Yeah.
that. If you guys want to leave a review, you can scan this because you also get a 10% discount on your next booking. If you want to do
Do I
that.
have to do it here or?
Yeah, because you have the
Oh,
barcode here.
yeah, 1 minute. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He got this. Oh. I'm acting like a proper nana. That's literally like, you know when you think, oh, I'll never get there. I'm here. I'm here. Like. So.
That's this one right here. Yeah, and you should instantly get like 10% off your next booking. If it doesn't, just email me. I'll sort it out. Oh, don't you worry, I'll be there. Oh, perfect. And if you guys mention me, I get a 10%.
Oh,
so,
oh,
so
no,
if you
press
want to,
those
don't worry
things too.
about it. You can
I was just not writing anything. I was
No.
giving it 5 stars.
Oh,
but-
okay, cool.
What are you not doing?
I bet I should be able to.
Share details. Public interact. Oh, what?
Review, yeah.
Yeah,
on
or
there.
Prav.
Crab, you
As
name
you.
it.
So I will definitely know it was you.
Crab and cat.
Crab and cat.
Cat. Are you with a K or with a C?
K.
Make your experience. I've got these pictures, but I want to see if I can take.
Do you want me to send you out?
Yeah, go on. See, I've sorted this stuff. It's really good. I like it.
Like it?
Yeah, I like it. You sent it. Come in. Oh my God! I had a dream that somebody gave me an umbrella.
Someone actually left it. If you want to take it, you can. You know what? I'll leave you go to. I'll give it.
That is really weird. I swear, literally, I had a dream. That someone
Or
gave
maybe
me
it's Jamie's, to be honest with you.
Jamie.
Which in case you didn't actually take it.
Yeah, we might do it with it. And you know what? You're gonna make people look at me weird now. They're like, she wants the rain to come.
You did do a rain dance the other day.
Yeah, I was like, it's too. I was like, I need more rain. Everybody laughs at me. I'm like, it's too hot. I can't be doing it.
Honestly, it's the whole purpose of me like taking a 16-hour flight from India. Having like the same weather.
Where's all the pictures? I don't know. I can't see the picture. Oh, photos. I can't see the pictures. I can't see the pictures that you sent me. Share. No, no, no. No, it's okay. I'm just gonna post it because I can't. Photo library. No, let's go.
Oh, there's not
No, I'll be coming anyway. I'll have the next night off. It wasn't Eagles, was it? Umbrella?
Oh, I hope not.
Oh god. Now that I think about it, because like
Oh, no.
it's been here for a while and no one took
Okay,
it.
then
I'm like,
yeah. Who's
I hope it wasn't Eagles.
That's really funny.
'Cause that would
I
be-
wouldn't. Like, sorry, I think your umbrella just disappeared. It was worth a bit, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be like,
Oh yeah, we should check into this.
yeah.
Oh shit. Oh shit. It's 3:32. Wait, what? Oh shit. I'll go get the viewing.
Okay. I can put the
Yeah,
thing up,
just
like the logo.
yeah. It should be. I'll
Yeah,
take
go
that.
for it. Hi, how's it going?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good.
Good.
Sorry,
Oh,
Kush.
I'm Cassie.
Nice to meet you.
Do you guys want like water, sparkling water?
No, it's all right. Thank you very much. Yeah, it looks really nice. Look at yourself on the screen. So how many people can come fit here?
I
Thank you so
think
much.
four comfortably.
Four comfortably,
Well,
yeah.
we have done sessions with 5 people.
Sure. And if there was 5 people, there'd be 5 mics.
5 microphones will mostly attach with a clap, with a clip on
Okay.
over there.
Perfect.
In the middle of the table. But yeah, if you give us a prior notice, we can
Sure.
figure it out.
Yeah.
We even have the Rode microphones that can put on your
Awesome.
phone.
Yeah,
So-
we've got them for
Ah,
content
there
and
we
stuff
go.
as well.
Yeah. What do you guys plan on doing?
We run a property management company,
Okay.
so we want to start basically a podcast just to build our branding,
Yeah.
build trust with a lot of investors, a lot of clients, and stuff like that. And yeah, we post a lot on social media, so we thought this would be a really good
Amazing.
outreach. Yeah.
Love that.
How long
Great.
have you guys been running your this one?
Podcast Room in itself has been running for 3 years now.
Okay.
This branch opened 5 months ago, right?
Nice,
4.5
nice.
months ago.
It's a beautiful
And we
space.
just opened another one in London Bridge as well. That's been running
Nice.
for a month.
Okay.
So
What's kind of the setup for it? Do you rent this? Do you pay a rent for this kind of area
this,
and then rent
this
it
is
out?
a Regis building. So
Okay.
we got this space and we sort of did this by ourselves.
Yeah, because we do something similar. We do like
Oh, you
rent. We got a lot of properties in central London,
Right.
and then we rent them out on short-term stays on Airbnb. So
There we go.
it's quite
Okay,
similar.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Nice one.
And then, which camera's which for on the screen?
Oh yeah, so what you're looking at here is basically
Okay, that's that
yeah,
one.
and that big one is focused on this armchair.
That one.
Yeah.
there.
And the third camera is the small one, the mini one, which is basically the same camera, it just doesn't have a shell on it.
Oh, okay.
You know,
Yeah, makes
And
sense.
yeah, that's usually used for the wide. You just wanna
Sure,
get the-
sure. As like the host of the podcast, where would you recommend me and my partner Kush
Yeah, I would
sits?
say Kush can sit here. I mean, you guys can do that right now. Actually,
Okay.
get a
Yeah.
quick view, and you can sit right there.
Sit here as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
You sit right there.
Yeah.
So you sort
oh
of
okay.
to just get an
Yeah.
idea. Yeah.
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 We'll obviously do this.
Because then, like, you don't have to sit in the same spots every time.
Exactly.
You can switch it up a bit.
And then if we have a client come in, would they sit? Do you recommend them sitting here as well?
Yeah.
Or, and then yeah, we just be sort of
Yeah. Or and I think were we on a call yesterday?
me and you. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, they can sit here if they want to ask questions from behind the camera, I
Oh,
am
okay.
right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Or they can sit by the production table with
Sure.
me.
If they would sit there, if we had somebody, could they have a mic as well, just so that they can hear?
You know, they could even sit there. You're not, as you can see, they won't be on frame. And you get a
Oh,
pair of
okay.
headphones right by that
Sure,
table,
sure.
so they can actually listen.
So
to
is it mainly these three spots on
exactly
camera?
because the microphones, unless we get a clip on, but I wouldn't
No,
complicate
yeah,
it too
yeah.
much.
Okay.
I would just say we can just get them
Nice.
sit there. You know?
And if, let's say, we wanted to change the screens
Yes.
at the back, could we
Yeah.
put our logo at the back?
Anything, yeah.
Yeah.
Do that,
Okay.
and you're also welcome to bring anything you'd like to the studio to sort of personalize the space.
Sure.
A lot
Okay.
of people use it, so you can sort of bring your own.
Oh, what's your
props.
thoughts? What recommendations do you have to bring, like brand name sides?
People bring like neon signs, you know, signboards rather than even logos up there. They would
Okay.
rather stick to like a painting, because that they
Okay.
do look like paintings when you put up a painting. So I
Sure.
can maybe show you.
Yeah.
We'll show you.
Okay.
for a second.
Perfect.
Yeah. No,
But yeah, well, creatively, my favorite was when they bought when some people bring like cushion covers
Yeah, yeah,
with the brand,
yeah.
which is very.
that's
you know,
clever, actually.
Yeah.
And you know, so you could put up something like that, and on camera that would look like a painting rather than
Got
a
you.
screen.
Got you.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
So yeah, you can always watermark the video as well
Okay.
on the logo, which is what I would personally suggest. But
Okay.
people like it sometimes.
Sure, sure, sure. Do you think our branding on company name or anything would be better, or do you think that?
Yeah.
So,
You
Up
can
to
go
us.
for anything. Oh,
Yeah.
it's just my personal taste would be like you can always watermark the video down there,
Mm.
so you can put up a cool painting.
got you.
Or even a picture that you're gonna put. For example, we had like a historian come in once,
Okay.
and she put up a picture of the guest from like a warfield.
Okay.
So you see like you can
Nice.
basically
Kind
do
of
that,
like
yeah.
Oh, yeah, pretty cool. Colors wise, the LED lights can that be?
They can be changed to any color.
Yeah.
So right now it's purple because the guest purple was.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Could we try a different color now, just to see how it
Yeah,
looks?
yeah.
That's
Sure.
right.
I'll show you some options.
Do you know what color for?
Well,
Gold.
yeah, black and gold, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you give them the logo, innit?
That's what I'm saying. Do you know this exact?
The color pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course I do.
So this is usually the neutral light.
Okay. Do you have like a golden color as well?
Yeah. I would say yeah. For example, that, and we can also. We can also dim these lights, guys. So, for example, if you want to make that golden.
Yeah.
Especially if you guys are with color graders, or if you're.
Yeah, we've got a pattern as well for the colors. I don't know if that would help.
Yeah,
but
that would help.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got so that's like oh, sorry,
Okay.
it's a bit small. But that's our color chart. So
Okay.
we want to like try and get
the
these
middle one. Okay.
these types of colors.
I don't know how to bring those up with these wooden panels
Okay.
because it will.
No, of
show
course,
it.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was saying that if you want to really bring that golden out, we can move them these lights down, sort of.
Yeah. But then the
And then
lightness on the screen is quite low.
and then I can increase the brightness of the camera in itself, or color grade it in post according to the
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
These are
So-
things that we could do.
Yeah, to be honest, we just want like a really. Okay. That looks cool. Yeah, like that. That looks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you see now I can bring it down and it's
Yeah.
still.
And do we stick to that? Whatever we do we stick to that color gradient the whole time, like every podcast? sort of
Uh,
thing?
You can change
doesn't
it
matter?
around, especially if you're starting. I would say
Sure,
try
yeah,
things out,
experiment.
you know?
Yeah, of course,
That's the good
absolutely.
thing about.
Yeah. No, it looks really good. Editing wise,
Yeah.
how does that kind of process work? Do you guys
Right.
do
So
the
yeah, we
editing?
have two types of editing: standard
Sure.
and advanced. Standard basically takes care. It's like a live edit. So basically, it switches to your camera when you're speaking, switches to his camera when he's speaking. We'll do
Okay.
audio clean up. Mostly you don't need it if the microphone's in place,
Mhm.
and that's standard edit. Most people really just need that.
Okay.
Advanced is where you can ask us to change colors, color grading, color correction if needed. music in the background, intro section, if you want to add something like a logo, watermark, all of that, intro, outro.
Sure. And I think we spoke yesterday. Do you do trailers and stuff for the?
We do trailers as
videos?
well, but that depends on what you're preferring. So basically, you can send us an example
Okay.
of what
And
you're looking for.
how many people are you kind of doing the advanced editing for at the minute?
Oh, quite a bit.
Okay.
Quite a bit. This studio is the busiest one.
Sure. Sure. I can
So
imagine.
yeah, it's yeah.
Nice.
And
It's a
how
bit-
much availability in advance do we have to give you? Like, let's say if
Right.
we wanted it on a Tuesday
Yeah.
next week or something,
Yeah,
how
I
do
would
we
say
schedule it?
I would say a week.
A week. Okay.
prior.
Yeah.
Always a week. Okay.
Yeah, especially because you have guests and all
Yeah.
that.
Mm.
You want to
Yeah.
make sure that they make the time for it. I would say.
Yeah.
Because like, I think for now we want to start off with doing like one a month,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
then after maybe as it gets bigger, we produce
Yeah,
more
'cause
maybe
some-
potentially.
Sometimes we'll probably just bulk film like once. It could even be 4 times in a month, but then we release
Yeah.
it every month,
Yeah,
and then
people
come
do
back
that.
for a month just
Yeah.
to say,
For example, the
Yeah.
client we had, she recorded for 3 hours straight.
Yeah.
She did like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So like she's covered the entire month.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
That makes sense. To be fair, that's what
Yeah.
San Moniz does.
Yeah.
Quite-
Is there like if we did like bulk, is there any like changing rooms where we can like if you want to change clothes or
We have a kitchen. We have
Okay.
washrooms.
Nice.
You'll always have access to those.
Okay, and it's got microwave, the basics.
Yeah,
and-
exactly.
yeah.
Microwave, water.
Do you know what the toilet is as well? I need to get sorted out.
Yeah, sure.
As you said, kitchen.
No, it looks really good.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask as well, the people that you're doing the advanced editing for, are they getting a lot of views on YouTube and TikTok and Reels?
Yeah, there's a couple that I think will do really well, especially like right this month, because there's a few that I really like, but they haven't released any of the episodes yet.
Mm.
They've even done like eight episodes, but they're all in back. They haven't released
Okay,
anything
yeah.
yet. But yeah, in terms of data, I have worked with quite a bit. Like Sim Sisters from Love Island, they do
Okay.
pretty well. They
Yeah.
get like 40,000, 50,000 views.
Okay,
That's
Sim
pretty good
Sisters.
for them. Yeah,
Who's-
they're like the Kardashians, but
Oh, okay.
British. They're like Love Island contestants.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
get
yeah.
the vibe.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah. Okay, nice.
Yeah, but mostly for in my personal
Mm.
opinion, for like a podcast like this, Dan News, you guys want to stick to more of a sort of understanding your niche audience.
Of course.
And then like
Yeah,
just going with that. Because
100%.
I was just telling, she's an intern actually.
Yeah,
She just joined. I was
nice.
just telling her about the whole business. I have a friend who runs a company called MassQ.
Okay.
His whole thing is working with CEOs and building their personal brands. He was posting for 2 years on Instagram. He
Mhm.
still gets 400, 500 views,
Okay.
but he gets so many clients out of
Of
that.
course,
The
yeah, yeah.
conversion is great. But, and also this year, from Jan, he started posting on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
and his videos are getting 3 million,
Oh, wow.
4 million views.
Okay.
While the same video still, till date, is getting 300 views on Instagram.
Okay.
So it's,
Got you.
there's so many aspects
So
to it.
many, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how, but in fact, if you think about the conversion rate, there's 5 million views on Instagram, on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
but he gets the conversion rate is actually better
On Instagram.
on Instagram
Oh, wow,
because
okay.
it's only 500 views, but
Yeah.
he gets like 30 people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We totally understand, like, especially in the
Yeah,
property market, it's
so-
kind of similar.
I would just
So-
say it's just showing up and just sort of like, you know,
100%, 100%.
that's what I said. Like in the
Yeah.
beginning, just use it to like experiment.
Yeah, yeah,
all kinds of
absolutely.
ways.
Do you have a lot of social media marketing as well? Or
I don't personally do
experience?
it, but
Sure.
I feel like because I'm always around it, I always get to have those
Yeah.
conversations. I'm trying to
Okay.
build my own personal brand. I'm a
Nice.
singer. I'm trying to put my
Oh,
own.
nice. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm trying to learn everything. I
Yeah,
can.
yeah,
So
yeah,
this is
it's
what
good.
I've gathered. Till
Yeah.
now.
No, it's good because
Yeah.
social media is like everything,
Yeah.
and we're trying to perfect it. We're going to be posting on LinkedIn a lot as well.
Right.
We post a lot on Instagram,
Right.
TikTok as well. Hopefully, utilize this to post
Yeah.
a lot more as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it looks really good.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's great that you guys are like investing into it. And, like,
Mm.
that's pretty good. It is the way to go at the moment, whether
Yeah.
we like it or not. Like, I don't want to like as a singer. I always felt like, man, I don't want to go around making TikToks. That's not me as an
Mm.
artist. But if that's the game, that's the game. I know
Yeah.
people who write songs for Sam Smith, but they never get in the booth because their TikToks don't blow up. So if that's the game, I guess we'll just have to do that.
Yeah,
So that's where I've come to now.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make it work.
absolutely.
So yeah, and in my personal experience, if you guys are bringing in guests that matter too, it's not just about getting a popular guest. They should know how to like take a podcast. I've had like people. There's this guy called David. He's grown his Instagram. He just started. He's grown it to 10,000 followers already in the span of 4 or 5 months now. But he was telling me like his guests, he's really trying to pick up people who also know how to drive a podcast, because some people in the first question they try to talk about their whole life story,
Okay. Yeah.
and it's like, where do you go from there?
Okay.
So
And how do you navigate that? Because
Exactly. So like
when we jumped on a podcast, that's how
exactly.
they were speaking to us, and then we
Yeah.
maybe we've seen it as well.
Exactly.
How do you navigate around that to get back on topic?
Yeah,
to
well,
big up
that's
yourself?
what great
Yeah.
hosts do. They know how to do that. Well,
Okay.
I guess it just comes with experience. I
Sure.
personally, obviously, I listened, but I wasn't there
Yeah.
on spot,
Got you.
so I can't really give you tips on how to navigate
Yeah.
it. But I can see what's not working.
Yeah. You can't just have them talking about their lives and
Exactly.
everything. It's
The
got
whole
to be
time,
productive.
like the
yeah.
first question, they just cover the whole journey. And
Yeah.
then where do you go from there? So,
that makes sense.
Maybe you guys can give a brief, and that happens a lot
Sure.
too
Chris was
nowadays.
saying that.
Everything's like
Yes.
scripted, but not in a fake way,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
rather giving a sort of outlook of how you want to take it, so they're conscious of it as well. It could be
Absolutely.
harder to do it with like bigger guests,
Yeah.
but if they're truly like big, they would know how to.
How
do
to
it.
navigate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. No, we're excited. Yeah. I think. Do you have any other questions as well, Kush? Do you mind if I take a video of the whole thing?
Please,
as
please go ahead.
Yeah, no worries.
Definitely copyright creation. That's the best thing.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's anything else.
Need to get on GTR for shirts.
I thought you was wearing casual.
Casual? Yeah.
I think.
Can do.
Except everything else is GK Alpha, innit? You don't want to overdo it with your.
Think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. This shows I'm natural. So. Yeah, I think what about GTR for Kush?
No, I have a friend who can do all these like
Kush. What about GTR for branding? Do you not think?
Maybe. Yeah, could do.
Definitely. Yeah.
he frames everything and everything, which is great for like really good stuff. And when you get to that level, you can like hack the time to be really perfectionist and be really good about it. But it's also like having to learn how to work on
So 80 quid for advances with everything.
Plus 70, 150.
because it's great, but also
Plus something about 155
because it was
for an episode, basically.
Not bad.
So we'll see.
I do like the seat, not gonna lie.
Yeah, you can have the seat.
What? Yeah, like if you had like two people, one there, one here.
No, but it would be mostly. It would be just this, basically. That's what it said.
Yeah, but you put one person in. Or is it just not this seat?
Oh yeah. What if we had two people then?
Yeah, you'd have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause you can't fit like that many people. But like if it's only one person at a time, like if it's just massive, then you just put one.
Cool.
Mm.
Let me just see if this is my seat. One sec.
That's my seat, man.
No, I think this is my seat actually.
Right.
Kush, can I have this seat actually? Right, this one.
If you want.
So what do you? Yeah, like this. Is that alright with you, Kush?
Mm-hmm.
Can I have this seat? Any last questions? How long's turnover for editing?
Oh yeah.
Really? It's just C for cut. Click here. Do it.
Quick question. With the editing and stuff, how long does it take to normally do the edits?
Standard editing takes 48 hours. So we usually try our earliest, but 48 hours is the deadline. And for 1 week is
Say,
maximum.
yeah,
Yeah.
and for TikToks and everything like that.
Oh yes, social snippets we do that as well.
Okay.
Yeah, you have all the prices here if you want to take a short, quick. We do discounts with bulk booking as well for future. Once you guys start booking more.
Sure. And do you have like previous videos or TikToks that you've done, like previous snippets from the phone? I can just.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
How can I consume the right foods to carry me through that shift? You want to give me some
And do you know how to cut it up, like so? All the,
Yeah.
do you have like AI tools for that, or do you kind of do that yourself?
We can cut it out. So sometimes you have to. We usually use AI if needed. But mostly with social snippets we'll have to do it ourselves. So.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, well, I've got your personal number, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Let me just double check actually.
Yeah, sure.
Was I WhatsApping you yesterday, or was that your partner?
Oh yeah, Igor. Yeah,
Igor, yeah.
he was on the phone with you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Do you
Yeah.
want to take down your number?
Yeah, sure, sure. I mean, this is the work phone basically. I think that's the
Sure.
number you have.
Okay.
But yeah, you can take mine.
Yeah.
It's 77
Yeah.
67
Yeah.
92 4045. Yeah. This number is the best one because when I'm off, like this number would be the best place to call.
Okay, is this number?
This is my first
This
number.
number. What's your name?
Totally.
And the other number is the Eagles number that I was speaking to, right?
Yeah, which I mean, whoever's in the studio will basically get this. So this phone always stays here.
And for like also like if the guest wants like tea or coffee or anything, do we have to provide all the stuff first, or is it already provided here?
Tea, coffee we don't provide. We just have like we have a bunch of sodas and like sparkling water and water.
Okay.
But coffee and tea, well, there's a prep like right off
Sure.
the building.
Sure.
So I would
So
definitely.
what is that come included as well?
Yeah.
That's yeah. Okay. So just.
Feel free to get one right now.
Yeah, if you want, we have Coke, Diet Coke, and then sparkling water.
And you've got, do you have normal water as well?
Right
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
But do you have like water bottles?
No.
We don't have bottles, we have glasses that we can use for the kitchen.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
That's perfect. Yeah. All right. Cool. Yeah, that's all good. Yeah. Kareem, thank you so much.
Yeah, no
We'll
worries.
definitely contact you.
Meeting you guys.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah, see you.
Thank you.
Thank
so much.
you.
Really
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Take care. Take care, guys. Yeah, if anything, just email me if you have any more questions. Yeah, just door and upstairs. See you guys. Okay, so we don't book. I gave them like all the intellect.
Yeah, you
I went in.
you went in, that was crazy. No, maybe I should have offered the glasses. I don't know if that's like a normal thing that you guys do. Let it go. So.
brother. Please, come smash
I know
me.
you're like, emails you.
Honestly.
Sorry,
I love how
don't
my
know if you
umbrella's still there, like the shitty
That's
one.
crazy. That was a nice umbrella too.
Yeah, that one
Okay.
was a really good one. Yeah,
I was like, I didn't realize it was up for grabs. I would take it.
Right?
I'm like, oh.
Man, I'm kind of thinking, why didn't I take it now?
Give her the shitty one. Just trade, you know. That'd be crazy.
Man, I'm so thirsty today.
No, same. I think whatever throat scratchiness you have, I got a little bit of it. My throat's been scratchy for the past
Really?
couple days. I
It's
don't
the
know if it's
hay
like a.
fever that goes on here.
Oh.
During the summer,
People
hay,
get like, oh, huh.
like in London,
Yeah.
they say that all the time. Like if it like touches your eye or touches you, it just starts to.
It just gets
Cause
you.
like I'm not feverish or I'm not
Right.
gastric.
It's just like
It's
annoying.
just like my sinus and my throat have just been like really annoying.
Oh, huh.
And Igor. No.
And Igor. Hi,
Igor,
sinus
no,
throat
no.
Igor. It's like a ear, nose, and Igor. You know, ENT. ENT. Like her food not wanting.
Cat, can you open that trash can for me? Sorry. Can I do it?
I'll ask her.
Do you trust me?
Not actually at all.
Imagine this gets this out of your head.
I know, like I'm kind of bracing myself. You got
No.
it, bud.
No, I think it's gotta go.
Oh,
It
I'll
has
just
to.
leave it.
Let's go!
That was good too. It was like a skit.
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
Physics.
You left me hanging for like 5 seconds.
I know, I was looking at my phone. I was like,
That was crazy. What's up? I try and show kindness. I'm like, this is what I get, whatever. Okay.
I love how you didn't even say anything. You were just like waiting.
Like,
Oh god. Oh god. Honestly, someone missing a high five.
immediate,
Ooh,
like,
immediately
death.
I
It's
want to shoot
awful.
myself in the head. I just
Yeah.
want to like.
Yeah, and imagine how I feel right now. Imagine what you
But you didn't. You were there. You got it.
I did get it. It was true. If I had offered.
Because I've seen
That shit
people
is the
just
worst.
like
And
wait,
then- and
like,
it just happened and they're like-
when they put their hand down, I'm like, no, why would you give up? They
No,
were
don't give up, just keep it
Just
there.
go with it.
That's like
Just
you
hold on.
have to commit.
Yeah.
Because if you give up and someone sees you give up, it's over.
Oh my god. Kills me.
Which is awful. Oh my god, this guy was not showing. He paid to talk, but he just like keeps fucking going. Because the last one I edited with him, he asked a question and then everyone else talked. He keeps going. I'm like, God,
Will you be here next week as well?
that's such a good question.
You
I'm
should.
not
You
sure.
should. Just tell Jamie like it's so
I'd be
important.
like, hey, it's
You gotta
totally fine.
use
I'll just go back to GPS. The only thing is,
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you now.
You're like,
I can't do it with another new person.
listen, we just got that.
I-
Paige is great. Paige will be great, but the only thing is because she's had to commute to Barnes for 2 weeks straight. If I kind of want to give her a break,
Right.
but I might say either maybe next week or it might be like a 1 week thing and then I come back, or
Yeah.
I go the last week or something. I kind of low key have a. I think Jamie is like likes Paige more than me.
Oh really?
I didn't tell you when we met him.
Yeah.
What did he say? He said, oh, well, he lives with me. He's like, oh, well, I can tell that you're like normal, but Paige is like American. I'm like, that's bad for both of us.
Yeah.
That's,
Both
what does
of
that
you were
mean?
like.
And then he asked, well, because Paige does like competitive dance at BU, which is like super cool. She's really sweet. She's close. But then Jojo Siwa. You know, like when you smile, like just a little bit.
Jojo Siwa.
Shut the fuck up.
I think I know who you're
No,
talking
you
about.
can't. Oh my god.
I know. Yeah.
How old are you? Oh my god.
Yeah, I know her.
You had to Google Jojo Siwa.
I know her. It's just I don't follow
I wish
her.
I lived in your life.
We don't follow each other.
You're not mutual.
We're not mutual.